What's up, everybody? Welcome to the GameOverGreggy show. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the producer/seducer, Nick Scarpino.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm well.
Your head is so soft.
Thank
you got
you.
a soft head?
You got what? Do you condition?
Hims, man.
Do you condition?
No, it's the Hims shampoo. I've been using that.
Yeah?
Since we got that sponsorship, it smells good.
Oh, we're brought to you by
feels
Hims.
good.
We'll tell you about that later. I don't think you did that on purpose,
Are we
but
really?
thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
today?
Thank you. That's really helpful.
No, yeah, it's just shampoo, no conditioner.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
It's very soft.
I use the vitamin also, which is a biotin.
What do you do for the beard? I've been getting, I'll be honest, it's gross. And over here, of course, baby blues, Tim Gettys.
Not too much.
I've noticed now that I have the beard, it's been going a while. I got a bit of the beard dandruff where I'll like rub it and then I'll look down and have some flakes on me. I'm like, oh, gross. I had the beard oil, but I was using it sparingly. And now I really every morning been putting it in there.
Every morning? That's bad.
Well, I'm fucking falling apart.
You shampoo it? Not all the time. Maybe once to twice a week. You condition it.
What? No, you're saying no?
I don't shampoo my beard now.
Okay.
I mean, I use my face scrub in it. I don't use.
What's your face scrub?
Just a normal face wash
Yeah,
that I use.
or that.
Okay.
Whatever.
Okay.
You put
Otherwise,
substance in
it
there.
starts smelling a little beefy.
I hate it when you say that.
It's disgusting.
I really hate that you use beefy in that terminology.
Because you know it smells like gamey, like it's rotten.
No, I've never had my beard smell like
I want
anything
you
to
to
my
go.
knowledge.
Yeah, next time you cook a steak, smell the steak.
I do. Oh, before I cook it.
Before you
now,
cook
now
it.
I know what it
That's
smells like.
what
Thank you.
beefy smells
beefy,
like.
Yeah.
You're saying
You
shampoo it sometimes.
You shampoo 2 to 3 times a week, depending on how active you are. Condition once a week. And then
With just regular hair or using beard conditioner stuff?
regular hair.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever. I use American Crew for all the stuff, so it's like on the nicer end.
And then what do you do?
that.
Hey, I'm sorry, you get out of the shower,
That's it. The
I thought you were-
beard oil is special events. That's it.
I use a every now and again. I'll just use a aftershave like lotion.
Yeah.
That I got at my barber shop, and it's pretty. It just is a moisturizer, basically, like a lightweight moisturizer for the. I usually use it here, but then I'll put it here a little bit. The thing I don't like though is I get if it's too oily, I'll get clogged pores.
Yeah.
And then it just they stay clogged forever, and like they'll welt up because I get weird like acne every once in a while. So I don't like to go. I use stuff on my face very sparingly.
Yeah.
Unless it's something that I know I've used for a long time. Because every once in a while, like my barber will get in there and like give me a face massage, and I fucking love it. But then like 2 days later, I'm like, boop, I just
Really?
I'll break out
Oh, wow.
because the oil's in his hands and stuff get dug
sure.
in. But you can go to your barber and ask them.
Just super cuts, you know?
Well, like,
I tried having a good barber.
I'll tell you what lotion I use, and you can try it
Perfect.
if you
Now
want.
we're talking about. Now we're talking
can
about.
see if that
Well, again,
works out for you.
I'm using the beard oil, like I said, too much probably, but I'm seeing if it'll balance it out. Will that bring me back?
It should.
And if it does, then I'll do that forever. You know what I mean? But it's just weird putting oil in there in general.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like that's why I don't trust doing it too much. I know that some people swear by it, but those are the people that have beards, not just fucking facial hair.
Sure.
See, mine's not that long. I want to get mine that long, but I just don't have the chutzpah.
The wherewithal.
I did a weird thing though when I went to Austin last week.
I'd love to hear about this.
I was
weird
like-
thing with your beard.
Weird thing with my hair and beard.
Okay.
I had not gotten a haircut because the week had been slammed, and I was like, I'm really going for the comedy show, which is Friday night. But my hair it was in that space where you're like,
Space
looks
between.
good enough.
Yeah,
But it could look
doesn't-
better.
haircut
But it could
could
look
ruin
better.
it.
But a
Right.
haircut could ruin it.
A haircut could ruin it, but I'm 2 weeks in from the last haircut. You know what I mean? So it
Yeah.
starts. I'm like, I could just give myself the poor man haircut where you cut around the ears,
Sure,
and then
been
maybe ask the wife if she'll take care of the neck. But then I was like, wait a minute, I'm going to Austin where haircuts are way cheaper than they are in San Francisco, or so I thought. I'm like, I wonder if I just like on my first appointment at Achievement Hunter is not till 11. I bet I could book, like, go find a barber, bring it in. That would take me at like 9.
It's for us too?
Is it Skittles? I hope it's Skittles.
Skittles. It's from the department brand marketing.
Cool.
If you didn't know, no, I got this. FedEx got it. Ladies and gentlemen, we've entered the best part of the year where we are now building to game. It's game release season. So that means all sorts of manner of shenanigans are coming. Oh, I know
so
what
much
this is.
Free shit.
Hold on. Make sure there's no notes or anything. It's Zone of the Enders. Oh. They knew you were a big Zone of the Enders fan. They asked me if
shit.
you wanted
Fun.
Zone of the Enders
Oh
stuff.
my
so
god,
they
this
sent the
box
game.
alone is amazing, and it comes with pins.
They sent you
Cool
socks?
Greg's gonna be. Yes. See, this is how you win Tim Gettys over. Give me some fucking socks that aren't too thick.
Oh,
Is there a
this is
controller?
nice. They sent custom
my God.
controllers. They sent custom Zone of the Enders
Whoa.
PlayStation 4 controllers.
Konami, we'll bill you for this afterward for all this promotion.
This is great.
I was like, no, they gave it to us. Oh, I see what you're doing.
It's not brought to you by Zone of the
Oh,
Enders.
look at Zone of the Enders, second runner of Mars. There you go. Very nice,
Cool.
very nice.
Cool.
I don't think we're done yet. Hold on. No, we
there's
are
more.
done. More socks. And then a business
Nice.
card.
Oh,
For a
who sent us
man
this?
named Mike.
Oh,
I
thanks,
have
Mike.
one for a man named Benjamin.
Hey, your phone's ringing too. Benjamin.
Don't trust it.
Remember me.
Remember. Have you seen that yet?
I like my hat, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Chef, the chef is in.
So how'd the haircut go, Nick?
So I booked an appointment. I just randomly Yelped and found something that was like walking distance away from my my place, and I felt baller AF because before I went in for my first on-camera appearance of the day at Achievement Hunter, I went in and got my beard trimmed, my haircut.
But it was super expensive, or it
No,
was just
not at all. I mean, it was less expensive than it was here, but it was a little pricey. But
still
it was not
pricey.
bad.
Yeah.
And I went to this place called Finley's Barber, which is
Was it run by Fit Finley?
No, it was just it was a nice barber. It was like for the haircut and beard trim, like $50. Not terrible.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
How much does it cost here in San Francisco? If you don't mind.
$70. Okay. Yeah. And again, I get that done like once every 4 weeks, so it's not terrible. Sure. But the real up, surprisingly, he takes more time on my beard than he does on my hair for the most part. But yeah, it was nice to be able to just go in and be like, you try someone new, you're like, you don't fuck this up. But I know now what to say, and
don't fuck it up.
Take care of me.
What? Or do you have the numbers now? I want a 2 on the side.
I'll get a
1 on the 9.
Yeah, I'll do a 1 faded into the beard, and then go as short as I can on top.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right,
it was fun.
So I do too.
When'd you get your last haircut?
It's been a while. I've been having a lot of weddings. So for Cisco's wedding, I was
Sure.
like, I gotta get my haircut. I had a wedding this weekend, and I pulled a Nick where I was like, fuck, it's too late now.
I hate that.
I didn't plan this correctly.
Yeah.
But it was a good time. Your shirt, by the way, that you wore at the
brand new shirt.
Like
Notice it was sweet.
I bought that.
Jesus, dude.
With my wife.
It's a good fucking
and
looking
I was
shirt.
like, I feel like Tim's gonna love this shirt.
Really
I actually bought it. There was another one that had hibiscus on it. Like it was sort of like floral, more floral than this one because this was like palm leaves. But it just didn't fit right. They got to fit right.
Yeah.
I got a weird body.
What?
I don't dislike my body. It's just I don't have the swimmer style body where the shoulders really broad.
Oh,
and the
that
tiny
Michael
little waist.
Phelps.
Yeah, I'm just a rectangle.
Sure.
Where my shoulders and my hips and my fucking feet are just all one line.
Your hips do
and
line.
so the shirt has to fit perfectly. And I refuse to get, every once in a while I'll get them tailored, but I refuse to get them tailored. I want the shirt to fit perfectly. Every once in a while I do though. Actually, when I lose weight or if the shirt has been stretched out, I will take it into the tailor and for $10 have them bring it in a little bit just so I can get like 6 more months out of it.
Nice.
Before it just wears out. Because otherwise why not? For $10 you can extend the life, not have to buy the shirts. It's fine.
These are nice shirts.
These are nicer shirts.
Not your t-shirts.
No, I mean my t-shirts I just at Joe goes,
You
hey,
wear
we're
them
doing
to-
another order from the RT store. And I'm like, give me one of everything.
Sure,
I just want one of everything.
Yeah.
Because, my wife
The
goes
Grim
through and
Reaper.
just goes, this one's
Yeah,
done.
she goes through and she definitely has her
Oh,
little
man.
sickle and she's just taking out dead ones.
Well, I told you what we do. We have a specific number of hangers, and those are the only amount of hangers we're allowed to use.
That is
I didn't know that. I don't remember.
very
This.
smart.
This is
Yeah,
our this
I
is our
couldn't do
rule.
that,
Nope.
but-
Yeah.
You got to do it. This way, you go. Do I really want this shirt anymore, or do I want to put a new shirt on here? When
See,
you
my
do
problem
shit.
with that's the jackets. The shirts, I feel like I could do it with, but the jackets, there's too many of them.
My jackets, the hangers are even more limited because they take up more space.
I have too many special condition t-shirts. I have way too many t-shirts. It's outrageous and obscene. But so many of them are, well, this is a shirt for this if this specific thing happens.
But then aren't those the folded in a drawer shirts?
all my shirts are folded. I don't hang anything because then I get
was-
the giant neck and I'd have show too much skin and I hate it. I can't have a big neck hole.
You, if I'm not mistaken, you have like a whole closet full of shirts, right?
I do. Yeah, I will walk in.
One time
and
I had to
over
borrow
the-
a shirt from you. I forget why. And you were like, go into the closet and pick one out. And I was like, how hard could that be? And I had decision paralysis for like an hour. I was like, I don't know which one
Jen
to pick.
hates it.
I can
Jen
only imagine.
hates the amount of t-shirts.
That
I
would
have.
be Dee's like worst nightmare.
Yeah.
She would be like, I got to throw all these out. or
It's a
leave
great
you.
point that I
Throw
mean.
a whole
There's
going.
definitely there's the top. I would say there's a mountain of t-shirts here. The top layer is the A team that I'm doing, and then when they're not there and they get washed, I start picking them out of the wash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you have the B team that can pinch hit, and then there's the super special edition ones that I need it for if it's St. Patrick's Day. If we're doing an XFL topic,
Absolutely.
I have these Marvel shirts I need over here. You know what I mean?
Those are, but see, you're getting more into like, these are costumes for you.
Sure,
But there are some shirts like, I imagine you've got more than one Mizzou shirt.
that's correct.
And those are just fun for you to wear.
Sure.
Yeah, that's good.
But the problem is some of those Mizzou shirts, I'm not happy with the quality of them. So now they're there and I can't bring myself to part with them.
There's that
talking about, man.
shitty brand, like
Gillian,
I forgot what it's called.
Gildan or whatever.
Gildan.
Gildan.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Although, it's
Because
sometimes
like this
Gildan
is
makes
feel how
decent
good this Mega
stuff.
64 shirt feels. This is a good t-shirt. This is the kind of t-shirt you want to wear.
American Apparel.
I don't
I imagine.
Get
It
it.
must be.
I'm assuming so.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we there are
Or
two
next
shirts.
level, same thing.
There are two shirts that I love, and I don't know. I don't think we can even. I don't think that the shirt makers are around anymore. But that Thimbleweed Park shirt that I have, I love, and then the Hawkins shirt that I used to have was the
good.
softest
See,
material ever.
I don't know if the T-shirt places went out of business as much as just the games.
Well,
What's going on with the Hawking people? What are the Hawking people
like the
working on?
fabric? I'm just like I never really thought to look and see, but I think I've looked before and it doesn't have the actual like
Yeah,
what
they don't
the
exist
shirt
anymore.
is. Sometimes they just have like the logo of the game, or they just
Sure,
don't tell you what
sure,
it is.
yeah.
So it's lost forever.
The problem I have with T-shirts is when I hang them all up, and then
Don't your neck stretch?
There's no.
You
You put them on. You have to put the hanger in the right way.
You put it underneath.
right
You go
way.
through the bottom carriage.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Oh,
Yeah.
God, you don't pull a neck.
Yeah.
What you're asking for trouble.
That's how you do it.
Hair half Hulk Hogan in it.
But I do have like my more costumey shirts, for lack of a better term. Those
Yeah.
go in the drawer because those I can call out when I need.
Gotcha.
You know? But otherwise, my rotation shirts. The problem is when you wear them, you're like, oh, I like this shirt. It's the new shirt, whatever. It gets put in the front of rotation. Then you wear it, and then eventually it goes into the laundry, and then when you get it back, it goes right back in the front. So
Yeah.
I get stuck just wearing the same shirts
Yeah,
for
that's
like
true.
for a
That's
while.
true.
I got that Rocket League shirt. Guess what? I'm gonna wear that once a week
Great
for
shirt.
the next year probably until somehow enough shirts get ahead of it that I never look at it.
I'm
I haven't worn
surprised.
this Layer Media shirt in like 2 years.
It's been a while.
It's a good looking
because
shirt, though.
I fucking love the shirt, but it got stuck too far back.
I'm surprised that you still love the Rocket League shirt so much because the front logo is great, but then it's the staff on the back.
Yeah, I wear jackets though. That's my thing. Is like
yeah,
most
yeah.
of the time that doesn't get in the way.
Yeah.
And if it does, I don't care.
Also,
Like-
fun fact: you can't see your own back.
That's
Great
also
point.
a fact.
That's a
Can't
great
do it.
point.
Doesn't
I always forget
exist.
about the white hair over here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You I'm sure for you, defining factor about Greg Miller, the white patch
white
of hair. But for Greg Miller, he never knows it's not even
That's
happening.
interesting.
I don't think about it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do because it's on my side.
Exactly.
Oh, see, I never see it.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
It's like the dark side of the moon, but only you can see it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
dude.
What's
That's
what's
so
back there?
special.
Only
Nobody
Tim
knows. No, yeah, exactly.
The staff, by the way, normally would be a deal breaker for me. If it
Oh,
said
yeah,
staff
yeah,
on the
yeah.
back. I don't love things.
Do you wear this Rocket League shirt?
I don't know that I ever got mine.
Okay.
I think it came to the office, but
Andy
it
Cortez got
never
it.
made it back to my.
It might be in the.
In a lot of
It's
ways,
probably still
Andy's
back
like a
there.
little bird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He sees stuff and he grabs it and then he runs it back to his nest and builds a nest out of it.
Would you
And so
believe that Andy puts his headphones on 9 out of 10 times just so I don't talk to him?
I guarantee I believe that more than anything in this entire fucking world that Andy definitely puts his
Because
on.
sometimes I say Andy, and I look back and I see him move for a second, and then realize he's got headphones on and go, I don't have to respond to Nick.
Oh, you got the kegerator working again? No more leaks? Oh,
Finally.
I'll take the IPA. Oh, you couldn't find a leak.
Andy.
So we're assuming it's just whatever.
Yeah.
Andy.
Okay, great. Here we go.
Did you just take an RX bar?
Yeah.
Don't eat all the product placement.
We need we.
Kevin eating one.
Kevin, stop eating the product placement.
They're delicious.
You're gonna have to go buy
we
more.
need them for actual product placement.
Yeah,
in
don't
the
eat
app.
those.
Hey, there's like 10 in there, all right? So chill out.
Everybody-
The way I see it,
It's
I got
Wednesday, and with the way you
9
guys
orders.
eat freaking RX bars, it's gonna be.
This is my second
God,
one
it is
ever,
Tuesday.
Nicholas, in
Here's-
my life.
Kevin, next time you
Today.
want Kevin, next
No,
time
like-
you want an RX bar, go into the fridge and drink some Frank's Red Hot because we have lots of that, and we only need the one bottle of that for the product
That's fair. You can
placements.
pour that. You can pour that in your mouth.
If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Game Over Greggy show each and every week. Sorry, wow. I totally went into Kind of Funny Games daily, and I couldn't throw the
It
switch.
happens every once in a while.
Yeah,
man.
wow, that's
And
what happened.
The moment you think about it,
Yeah, it's
then
too
you
late.
You can
It's
stop.
too late.
If you just kept going, you would have been fine.
I know, whatever.
No,
but I
it's
love
cool.
you, and I want you all to know
I
where I'm at,
appreciate
all
it,
right?
man.
I'm right there with you.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Game Over Greggy Show. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table, each bringing a random discussion for your amusement. Fuck. If you like that, it's topic for discussion. I'm all
about
up.
it.
Dude, you know what? Here's
Kevin came in and
the thing.
did
Throw
it all up.
this. Do you want
Yeah,
a
you want
beer?
beer.
And I was like, and I shook my head no. You can rewind it if you want. I shook my head no, and then he went, and I was like, all right. I should have waited till I got the beer. Clearly, I can only do the show wasted now.
Here's the thing I'm going to tell you about you. You do a great job hosting this show. You're easily one of the best, if not the best in the industry at what you do. I firmly believe that. I'm not fucking around. But I want to tell you this. Free yourself every once in a while. You know what I mean? Just free yourself. Yes. Yes.
Every once in a while.
Kevin, go tum to tum.
Remember me.
No one's
My
gonna
little
forget.
Peruvian friend, remember him.
No, that was really good.
Thank
While you
you.
went into it.
Did a little trill on that.
I did. I threw it out there.
So white.
He's so
Rewind
impossibly
balance the
white.
camera on my body. If you're an audio listener, I took off my shirt.
Back it off of what Nick's saying here.
The intro?
Yeah, I firmly believe that you are the best in the industry when it comes up to the "What's Up, Everybody" stuff. When
I
it comes to
guarantee
it.
intro,
Oh,
and
sure,
You're the best
shows,
host in our industry by far. I'll stand by that.
podcast host
I will.
and host in general, but like
Yeah.
an interviewer, you're many good things. But like
Fuck
specifically,
you, Jeff Keighley.
Yeah,
specifically like
love
doing
Jeff.
the
No.
rigmarole.
Jeff Keighley's just like
Oh, the
this.
rigmarole?
I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
think anybody is
Kind
as
of
good
Funny
at
Games
rigmarole as
Daily
you.
is literally like, I black out while I do it because it's just autopilot. I'm in there and I'm literally like, what did I do? What am I gonna do for?
I black out when I do a lot of the shows, but then at some point I start seeing flashes.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing it's usually whenever I start talking about podcast services, okay, sorry, let me take a step back. Speaking really fast here.
Wait, real quick, Tim, you want a beer?
Yeah, I was gonna say the beer will slow you down.
Yes,
That's what you need.
yes,
All right,
please.
yeah.
Fill you up, but won't slow you down. You know what I mean?
Anytime I start talking about podcast services, I never want to say around the globe. That's a Greg thing. I'm just like, that's not a Tim Gettys thing. But every time I start talking about podcast services, hearing you on Games Daily comes
just
into my
take
head.
it. Just do it.
And then it just gets stuck in there. And I've actively tried.
Just
listen to
popped
content,
in
listen to Kind of Funny in Review, Gamescast. You can hear it in my voice where I hesitate to say it. And I just fucking go with it. You're the best in the biz.
Thanks,
Best
buddy.
there ever will be.
Let's
continue. Sorry.
No, go.
I was going to say, I do not black out during intros. I do the thing that I imagine amateur tightrope walkers do, where I kind of am good for about halfway through and then realize I'm very high up in the air. And then it just starts going and then I fall off. And I go, yay!
You gotta just jump off. You know what I mean? You're just like...
Much like Coyote Ugly, the pivotal scene when John Goodman is driving Piper Paraboo to the place to sing her song, and she panics and makes him turn around, and then he turns back around. And, let's try it again, all right? If you didn't know, this is the Game Over Greggy show. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table, each bringing a random topic discussion for your amusement. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindafunny, where you can get each and every episode early. How early? You could be watching this shit show live right now for just $1. That dollar goes so far in helping us make a great business here. Pay for Nick, pay for Andy, pay for Cool Greg. Ain't that right, Cool Greg?
All this game shit.
Yeah. There's a bunch of other perks over there too. Of course, you get the fan mail, which is on Kind of Funny, patreon.com/kindafunny. The Panda Musk drawing of shirtless Spider-Man and the real Spider-Man. You can go to Games if you wanted to get the actual Games case or the Games thing for the
That's Spider-Man. It's behind Nick.
Behind Nick?
There you go.
Oh,
There
yeah,
it is
that
right
one.
there.
That one. You get a
That's
print
the
of
one.
that. You get a print of that one this time around on patreon.com/kindafunny. Patreon.com/kindafunnygames for that one. If you have no bucks to toss our way and get the show early, because remember, it goes live when we record it, and you can get it that Friday before it goes anywhere else. The next Friday, 1 week later, it goes up on youtube.com/kindafunny and podcast services around the globe.
I had a question about the cover.
Yeah, lay it on me.
Are you signing that, or is that just the cover that we're getting when we're sending it out?
We are so.
What's the plan with that? Because I know we're giving away the imagery for free if you don't want to back us.
Right now you can go to Patreon. If you're an audio listener, I'm holding up shirtless Spider-Man PS4 cover. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, you should check it out on YouTube or whatever, because there's a million places now to check it out. But we're printing off. You can go right now, print off your own, put it on whatever paper you want, use it for free. It's free. Patreon.com/kindafunnygames. If you support us at the fan mail tier,
right.
We'll print it on the really nice glossy paper, and I'll sign it as shirtless Spider-Man's.
Okay.
And we'll send it to you.
Spider-Man will sign it.
No, shirtless Spider-Man's photographer me is signing it. Because if shirtless Spider-Man, if shirtless Spider-Man signed the cover, you could reverse engineer the signature, find his family, murder them, just like Spider-Man 2.
Okay. But no one would ever think to follow you home to see when you do engage with shirtless Spider-Man.
No, they would. If anything, no, they wouldn't follow me home at all.
It's amazing that as you're I can say this because I feel like this is a pretty accurate statement. As you're Mary Jane Watson.
Yeah, that's true.
It's weird that I have yet to be accosted because of your relationship with shirtless Spider-Man.
You say that, but how many awkward conversations have you been in with people we would call villains that have cornered you to talk to you because they want to talk to me? Think about that. Think about that. Think about every E3.
Every E3 conversation I've ever had.
Kevin, no, don't take the RX bar. He's got the look in his eye that he wants more RX
They're
bars.
very good, and that one's coconut chocolate.
They are good. I'm not going to lie. You know why they're good? Because they're not overly sweet. So they're very
I
filling.
think they're good because I'm fat.
Well, there's that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, of course, we couldn't do the show without the help of Patreon supporters. So here they are. All the people who supported us on Patreon.
Would you like me
Thank
to
you.
sing one?
So many
names.
names.
So many names. Yes.
Bumblebee.
Which one is this?
I went to
beer?
Patreon to
I
back
believe
you.
it's the IPA.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, that's definitely IPA because it's got the right coloring.
We figured out the CO2 problem.
I don't know. Did we?
No.
It just
I mean,
works.
he proved that he didn't cause a problem.
So the guy came while we were doing the show.
Yes.
So let's bring everybody up to speed. We have
Okay.
a kegerator. It's the best purchase we ever had. We love it. It's
It's
great.
great. Barbecue is up there as best purchases.
Also true.
Barbecue
Don't-
needs a.
okay.
But can I throw this in there as a
Here we
side
go,
note?
here we go.
We got to get a new barbecue cover. It's time.
We've been thinking about
That
that a
one's.
lot.
That's the
Didn't
first
know
thing
the
people
sun
see
would
when
do
they
so
come
much
up the
damage.
thing. and they go, "What is going on with this dime store of a fucking business?"
Well, then they got the blue tarps with these like fucking moldy ass LaCroix.
That is a funny story, though. That is, hey, what's under the blue tarps?
Nobody ever
funny
asks.
story.
Nobody ever asks.
Everyone always asks.
No.
They never ask.
They
but then
walk in, they see the LaCroix room, and I have to explain. You walk past
that's
them with
the
LaCroix.
thing. But when they walk in and they see the barbecue with its faded, I mean, the cover is white at this point.
Yeah, I
it
know.
was
I don't
black.
understand. It
And
was
it's-
black.
Well, it's sunlight. Sunlight does that.
Somehow
That quickly?
has a gigantic tear in it.
It does have a tear in it.
And we don't know how that happened.
The
It is the
sunlight-
most
Wind.
trash.
I know
It's the
exactly
most
how that happened.
WT
How did it
thing I've
happen?
seen
How
in
did
a
the tear
long
get
time.
put into
We
the
were putting
barbecue
on the
cover?
damn thing, and it tore on a corner because
Gotcha.
the sunlight has made it just
Gotcha.
Brittle.
brittle.
Can we order a new one of those?
Yeah.
Gracias.
do that.
Speaking
Now-
of tears, this reminds me of a story that got brought up this weekend at a wedding I was at with one Alfredo Diaz
Pants?
and Jackie
Somebody's
Butler.
pants? Somebody's underwear.
A couple months ago, I went down to Austin to do some Rooster Teeth stuff, and they were like, "Oh, do you want a hotel?" And I'm like, "No, I want to stay with Alfredo. It's been way too long." And Alfredo's like, "Cool. We just moved into an apartment, so we don't have a couch or anything. We're gonna get an air mattress." So they got an air mattress.
Yeah.
And I was sleeping on the air mattress, and then as we were in there speaking to each other from different rooms,
Bump and grind.
of course, he's just like, "Fuck, bring the air mattress in here. We're doing a slumber party. We're talking all night." I'm like, "Fuck yeah, we are." And so me and Alfredo take the air
Where
mattress.
was Jackie?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
during
what's Jackie's interpretation of all
She
this?
was super in. She was
Okay.
just like, "We're slumber party." And then so we like start to bring the air mattress into their fucking room. It catches on one of the door things and just straight pops.
Oh,
And so then I just was
No, then you
laying-
slept in the bed with Jackie and
and the next
Alfredo.
thing you know, no, I just slept. I did put it next to him, and it was kind of just like a sheet on their thing.
Do they not have one of the little clear plastic, like, it's like tape?
Repair kits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
It's easy to repair, Tim.
Kevin, stop and think about this. It was me and Alfredo.
Yeah, you guys
it wasn't
were
me and
numbskulls.
you. So
I used to sleep near over my buddy Stu's house, and I sleep underneath his bed, and it was always like very.
Wait, real quick. How high is his bed?
His bed was like.
Are we talking like a loft bed?
It was. Is that what it's called? It was like maybe a good 4 feet, like 3 feet off the
It's a
ground.
loft bed, yeah.
Okay.
So it had like stuff underneath it that you could put like drawers and shit.
Sure,
So
sure.
I would sleep underneath that, and then his drum set was always right here. So I would be in this little tiny nook, and we would stay up all night. But we used to go and get super high, and then come back and then eat all of his mom's caramel flavored rice
Cakes?
crackers. Yeah,
Okay.
cakes, the little
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Man, and then she got super pissed because she was like, "What the fuck keeps happening to all of our rice cakes?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "The munchies. That's what keeps happening to
You
them."
didn't say that to her
No,
though.
I was terrified.
You had to
of her.
hide of it. Yeah, yeah.
His mom was like very tall.
I think now that we are not adults, right? But now that we
We're not
are
adults.
older people who have to make money and then spend it on things,
Yeah.
I think about how stupid we were as children eating people's food. Because I remember when my friend Mike Boylan, his family at some fundraiser bought all this beef jerky, and it was like high quality beef jerky. They're like sticks, like Slim Jims,
Sure.
but high quality
Love
ones. And they had like, turkey and beef and all that stuff, and they were fucking amazing. And I remember them bringing them and us like being on a mission to basically eat them all in this one sleepover. And we did a really good job. Where I remember like the one we all liked was out, you know what I mean, by the second Amityville Horror or whatever the hell we were watching. But then you think back of like
That was
this
$87
high-end beef jerky that
Yeah.
they're getting, and these fucking monsters are coming out of the basement, hopped up on Dr. Pepper, eating these things.
Listen, I think that's just what you have to understand you're getting yourself into when you have a kid. Is that you're going to be broke the rest of your life, and they're going to always eat the food that you want to eat.
Sure.
And you can't say anything, and you can't beat them anymore because it's not the 80s. So
I guess
just
that's
what you
true.
get
No,
to.
there's some good points there.
Listen,
I
There was a
was
time.
so fat as a child, and I never stopped eating. And I can't imagine how shocking and traumatizing it was to both my mom's psyche and her wallet to see a young Nick just ballooning up and wanting more and more Twinkies.
I just feel like somebody should have stopped us at some point.
They should have.
and said things to us. I remember when Mom used to come
Yeah.
home with lunch meat for the next week. She'd go shopping, Saturday.
Can I
or
come
something.
back with you?
Yeah. Oh, you can come back anywhere you want to.
back
Come on.
Okay.
That's why I detached. This is a fun show. You know what I mean? But she'd come home with the roast beef or whatever. And like no sooner is that shit in the fridge, am I in there Saturday at 11 a.m. like rolling it up and eating it slice by slice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or they got the little rolls I like, and I'm making little roast beef sandwiches.
Oh man, we used to. Yeah, I mean, I never stopped eating, and I think I actually spoke with my mom about this one
Yeah.
time, and not accusationally, but I was like,
Hey, you
yeah,
fucked
you
up
know,
my
like
life,
now
Elena.
that I'm a little healthier, it's just interesting to go back and look
I
and
need
like
to blame someone.
I
so.
just
Yep.
yeah, I was
Yep.
I'm basically like I kind of jokingly was like where's the blame gonna go on this? And she's like, I don't know that I don't think you're remembering that correctly. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, I tried so many times to stop you. and you just would not listen to me.
Yeah.
And she's like, I can't physically take the food out of your mouth. And I'm like, that's true. But also, you did not have to cook for 18 people.
Yeah.
And I was always like, you would always cook so much. She's like, you understand we were on a budget. That food was supposed to last like 3 days, and you and your fat fucking brother would eat it in a night, and then I would be fucking screwed. Like my mom was like, I would cook so that we'd have leftovers for 2 days, so we wouldn't have to fucking cook every day.
Funny.
And I was like, oh. And she's like, and I would be like, I mean, my mom was like, never like, don't eat. She would always be like, you want a second? She was always very giving when it comes to that. But she was like, when I cooked the meatloaf, it was supposed to last 3 days.
Yeah.
You and your brother would go back at 10 o'clock at night, and I was like, well, we were high, and you would just eat the whole meatloaf, and it was not cool.
That's like a revelation. I can only imagine like you sitting there and getting that information.
It was interesting. I mean, it's very fascinating to go back and look because I mean, you're right. At what point do you become cognizant and responsible for your own actions? Like where I don't know.
Not for a long fucking time.
That's the thing. I still haven't had it.
Time.
I think maybe 50 when you're 50, you get to be responsible. But I think to myself, I'm like, I started gaining weight, and this documentary was an interesting revelation for me too because I always thought I gained weight in my teens. Going back and looking at those
your comedy documentary that about you. Okay.
Waiting for the punchline. I didn't realize that I had just steadily gained weight since birth. Like I was like skinny for a while, and then just right around the time when I maybe hit 3rd or 4th grade, I just started fucking bulking up, man.
Yeah.
Just prepping for a football game I'd never play.
Gonna play? You're never gonna play. Wow.
That's hilarious. The only time anyone ever got mad at me and my brother for like excessively eating things we weren't supposed to be, my grandma that used to live downstairs got so mad at us one day after months of doing this where she's like, you guys need to stop eating all of the sugar cubes that I'm putting out.
Sure.
This shit is for coffee. This shit is for tea, maybe.
Also,
this is not to consume.
I used to do that.
Why are you eating these sugar
they were
cubes?
good.
I mean, like,
they're fun to eat.
What I think back to is the dumb things we all did as a kid, and like at what point it was like what you're talking about with your mom. Of your parents were just like, whatever. He's not hurting anybody. Like when I go to like out to eat with my parents and like open those little creamers and drink them.
Saying like these dumbass
I'm sure they're just like,
First off,
Kevin used to do that.
if the half and half
you not
company,
remember this?
If the half and half company didn't want children to drink those, why would you make them child-sized
Wait, did
cups?
I-
Yeah.
Why would you
Did
make the
I
cup so
really?
small? You feel like an
Yes.
adult.
I have no memory of that.
And maybe that explains the lactose intolerant shit. But like, oh my
I don't know
god,
that's how that works.
Andy
Oh,
Cortez,
it
you came in.
definitely
You got a story of you eating stuff you're not supposed to eat?
Yeah, when my cousins would visit from Austin, they were much younger, so they used the blue sparkly Colgate sweet toothpaste.
Okay.
And I'd eat that shit all the time, dude.
Yeah.
Eat it?
Like, because we'd all sleep over at my grandma's
not
house.
good for your stomach.
We'd all sleep over at my grandma's house. And it was like in a cool little tube or whatever.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It was
You're
on
like, I'm a
little blue-
spaceman.
it's crunchy though. Like,
yeah, it had like
It had
crystallized
texture to it.
stuff, and I would
Yeah.
I would always put it on my finger and like eat it, and like I would go back to that shit all the time. That and oh god, there's other things that I remember that I would eat that I know that I shouldn't have. I can't remember.
I can imagine baby fucking or little kid Andy running around just pretending to brush his teeth with his finger to eat more and like full of shame.
Sure. Oh,
Were
yeah,
you
yeah.
full of shame? Like as you were doing it, did you know it was wrong?
No, I knew it was wrong. I mean, I would do it in the restroom and just walk out. I didn't like, I knew what I was doing wasn't what you're
like a
supposed
coke
to do.
habit.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, also, like strawberry chapstick.
You'd
My
eat
cousins
it?
had
Eat
chapstick that I would like. I wouldn't bite or crunch on it or whatever, but I'd
Put it
like.
on and give it some licks.
Isn't that weird though? Like,
Catch you a little bit.
But like that's because when you were young, you were probably like, I like sweet things. And isn't it weird that every product that was put in front of you was sweet?
Yeah.
And so now you're like, yeah, I don't actually like keep eating candy now because when I was a kid, every fucking thing had sugar in it, including probably the lip balm that was going into my mouth.
what's the weirdest thing you guys ate that you knew you weren't supposed to be
when
eating?
I was a kid, I used to look forward every Sunday. I've told the story before, but I'll tell it again because why the fuck not? Every Sunday we used to go to church, St. Catherine's in Riverside, California, and after that we'd go to Coco's. Now I liked Coco's for two reasons. One, they still had the old school cigarette dispenser. That was you put quarters in and then pull the tab and it'd go choo and the cigarette would come down.
Yeah.
I loved that thing because I was like, I don't know why, I just loved it. I thought it was the coolest thing because you never see them anywhere. And then two, I used to sit down, immediately grab the little carton of like the little basket that had all the jams in it and proceed to open them up and eat every single one of them before we even ordered. To the point that if you got toast, you'd have to embarrassingly ask for another basket of jam and have the waitress look at you mystified. What the fuck happened to the 7,000 calories of sugar jam that was on the table and just see my fat ass.
Your eyes are completely dilated.
I'm gonna go smoke some cigarettes.
I got a fucking weird one.
Yeah?
Y'all are gonna be like, what was wrong with you?
Please tell me it has some. No, never mind. Go ahead. What is it?
Jesus, Nick.
What?
I don't know where you're gonna go with that. So in elementary school, my school didn't allow backpacks. I don't know why. I think it was like some weird fucking like hippie ass shit of like we don't want the kids carrying stuff. They don't need to carry bags. They're fine.
Scoliosis.
In San Francisco.
So yeah, totally San Francisco bullshit. But so because of that, they gave us these folders that we would carry all of our papers in. Not even binders, just paper folders. And I'll never forget there was one day I was probably in first grade.
Did you eat these folders?
You ate a fucking folder?
And I pulled a little bit off the corner. And I was just like, I was going to eat this.
I think that has a name. I think it's a thing.
So
That's a thing.
I was just kind of chewing on it because like it was a little bit puffy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I bet this chews well. So I started chewing it. And then by the end of the a couple months later, my teacher called me out because like my thing, it was more gone than it was there.
Oh, wow. So you went deep on this.
I went deep.
It.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, okay,
yeah, dude. I was going in.
I would chew the fuck out of like cardboard paper and folders and stuff just because I love the way it felt, but I wouldn't swallow it. I would
spit?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Like a baseball player? Like
I straight up ate this folder.
Didn't you chew on your
To
blanket
this
when you
day,
were a
still
little
one of your
kid, too?
favorite foods.
Chew on what?
On your blanket when you were a little kid?
Yeah, that's
I
the
don't think
thing
you
though.
ate it.
We met someone recently.
You're like suckling?
Amy Johnson was talking about that. I was just chewing on it though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kids do that sometimes.
I don't.
bite my shirt.
You bite
Yeah.
your shirt?
I would always
That was-
bite my shirt.
But you're
and
not
chew it.
eating it.
I didn't do that, but a lot of
Sometimes.
kids, and that's why when you see kids, they have like those it's really fucked up here.
golden
Yeah, it's
shit.
nasty as shit, and it smells like just breath.
Oh, man. We were talking. Oh, go ahead.
I don't have a good thing I ate that I'm not supposed to eat thing. But I do have what we're talking about in terms of like just let them do it. Your parents just like throwing their hands up because I distinctly remember this, and the fact that I'll give you the information of why this is probably a shameful story is that I remember it. And I remember maybe I remember it in a way that I was too old to do this, but also that my mom let me do it, thus telling you I had like real teeth or whatever. But we had Market Day at home. Is Market Day a thing that everybody has? Do you know if I said Market Day? Nope. But back in St. Pat's, there'd be this thing called Market Day where basically similar to the Scholastic Book Fair, you'd bring home this like thing of basically before Costco, like they're getting a wholesale run of food or whatever through this thing called Market Day. It wasn't like just a thing. And parents would check off what they want. You turn it back in. Then one day, I don't know, every quarter of that month or whatever, there'd be like all this food stuff delivered that you would take home or whatever, or for your parents, or they'd come and get you or whatever. And I remember they used to get these vacuum sealed steaks or whatever, but not like high end steaks, obviously, but these are vacuum sealed steaks that were just easy that you'd freeze and then cook or whatever. And they'd be an easy thing between like my parents switching off, taking care of me or whatever. And all right, here's your dinner or whatever. And I remember one day, we're in my original house. So it's pre 5th grade. So maybe second grade, maybe third grade. But again, I remember this pretty clearly where I was watching cartoons or whatever, Batman the Animated Series or whatever. Mom was going to make me one of those. And she came out with it in the fork and knife. And I was like, do you mind? Dude, do you mind, Mom, going back in there and putting down the fork and knife? I want to act like a wolf and eat that.
I've heard this story before.
And Jamie Kennedy's like, all right, and went in and put it down, and she came out, and I was like hiding somewhere, and she put it down. She goes, okay, Wolfie, here's your food. And she left, and I like crawled over there, like, but I ate it more like a raccoon than a wolf because I'm using my hand. But again, I wasn't cutting my hey, can I eat this entire steak with no utensils? Like, so it wasn't like I was small enough where you had to worry about me. I was cutting my own food and stuff. But there I was, just gnawing on the steak, watching Batman or Animaniacs or something.
Nick's look at you that entire time.
No, because what I think is this. What I think is, I mean, I only have the frame of reference of Elena Scarpino, Mama Scarpino. And my mother was, to say that she was draconian in her,
her rule of the house.
Her rule of the house would be accurate.
Okay,
I would think.
okay.
That's accurate. If I asked her to do that, I don't even know what the response would be. But
Matt would have just come out and beat your
good.
ass. Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing too, is I had an older brother.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
if Matt saw me doing that, holy mother of fuck, he would never let me live that down. He would have come out and kicked the shit out of me, first off, and then he would still
I'll
to this
treat
day
you like
tell
a
the
wolf.
story. Oh my god, that's the thing is like I grew up with the older brother, so I I have that feeling of shame that he's helped instill in me.
Sure.
So I never really did anything crazy like that, because if I did, it was always like I would just look over, my brother would just shake his head and smile like, thank you for this gift. Thank you for giving me this gift of beating your ass for this later. And that's how that used to work. Yeah. No fucking way my mom would have let me do that. No way. She probably would have backhanded me too.
Wow. I know what it means. I know
little fucking, the Catholic protection. It's God's will.
Okay.
So many different sound effects for the same
I know,
action.
for the same thing, and it just kept coming. You know what I mean?
And that first one didn't sound correct.
No, it sounded a little swishy.
Yeah.
A little wet.
Thank you to our Patreon producers, Warren Moore and Tom Bach. You, of course, are fantastic as well. And yes, if you are listening, that does mean, in fact, we were not even into the topics yet.
Nope. Cool. Can I get a water from you?
What?
Thanks.
Glass?
Yeah, sorry, that's glass.
Glass thing's just halfway
That was
off.
my bad this morning.
People get bent out of shape by that shit all the time. You seen the Gamescast comments recently that my Switch was hanging off by? Like,
You're a fucking madman.
It's fine.
Greg.
My Switch can take anything.
No, it can't.
Yeah,
Yes,
it can.
please.
It fell over at fucking
Here's the
PAX.
thing. I've been meaning to tweet this, and I really should. It's just like we are all living on borrowed time until mid-September.
I know, right?
Like,
we're all fucking around, and like it'll happen the day before the online service
we
launches
gotta
that we all
fucking
fuck up
treat our
yeah.
Switches with the utmost care for the next month. Oh my God. No, next 2 weeks.
Mere
or so.
days.
Wait, why is this? What's happening?
There's no cloud save, so if my Switch broke, it's all
Your
gone.
saves are gone.
Well, that would suck. But also be liberating.
Yeah, kind of cool, Greg. From the back of the house, you have a question from the Kind of Funny Press Pool. You can take it up with Kevin Coelho from kindafunny.com, Patreon support. Oh, hold on. Kevin Coelho is coming here.
What's up, dude? We're still doing last month's.
There you
so
go.
it's 4.
It's a month behind.
Yeah, no, it's 1 week behind.
Okay.
Maybe 2 weeks behind.
And what I'd like to call out is that since you apparently lost your shit in the chat, DJ Kento, we're pushing you back an entire month.
Damn.
I'm kidding. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that at all. I want to start with my topic. It's a topic on everybody's mind, not really, but kind of. It's in the back of your mind.
It's always in the front of my mind.
We haven't done a casting topic in a while.
Oh, yeah,
so I said, what video game do I want to cast? Then I stopped myself, everyone.
Yeah, Zone of the Enders.
Let's cast Zone of the Enders. I want
What do
to
you give me if I
Rihanna.
can name one character from this iteration of Zone of the Enders?
$1 million, $100 million, unlimited money,
Loved Zone of the Enders.
and you can't name anybody.
I can name the mech is Jehety. Jehuty.
Oh, I did know that actually, Jetty.
But I could not fucking tell you what that dumb kid's name is.
Rather than a video game, though, I thought I would sweeten the pot, make it more interesting.
Okay.
It's a two-parter, guys.
Okay.
I want to, of course, cast the new X-Men movie.
Okay.
But when I say that, I mean I want to cast the MCU X-Men movie.
Okay.
And as a wrinkle, I want us to come up with how they're going to introduce the X-Men into MCU. Of course, we're coming off XCU in review. We're already on a Spider-Man in review. We've done MCU in review.
We've done this before, not the casting,
Yeah.
but the talking about X-Men being brought in MCU.
Yeah.
On GameOverGreggy show with one Louis Medina.
Oh, I do vaguely remember that actually. When we were doing, that's what
But that was before Infinity War. So like everything we said is out of date and doesn't
Okay.
make sense.
I don't think you need
So
to
I feel
spend
like
that
this
much
is
time
time.
with that as much as figuring it out, right? Like who is going to be what and what characters we have in there and all that jazz.
Let's start off right.
We gotta start. We gotta get there. Do we need a list of characters?
Here's the thing.
Let's
I
do a list
feel
of
like this
characters.
conversation is kind of a mix of the part 1 and part 2 in together, because who is in the next X-Men movie?
Exactly.
I feel like that's a big question that is actually more part 2 than it is part 1. Correct?
Here's my question for you. Do you think they introduce Wolverine right off the bat?
It's a big question.
I don't think they do.
I don't think they do.
I think that they're going to be smart and they're going to go, we are going to set this up correctly. We're not going to come out of the gate with our big gun. We are going to do the characters
Slow
that
burn.
people care about, but aren't necessarily the top tier X-Men.
But even then, what does that mean?
I'm thinking right now, Cyclops for me is I think you got to have the core group. Cyclops,
So
Jean
yes,
Grey.
top 2.
Top
So
tier.
we're not
I'm sorry,
first-classing this
Top
thing.
tier as far as
Core.
as far as comic books are concerned. Mid tier as far as the movies are concerned, because nobody gave a shit about Cyclops. That's where my brain went. But yes, Cyclops top tier. I would say you got to have Cyclops, Jean, and maybe Storm is the new character in the first one.
I think the first movie needs to be doing justice to the characters that have been fucked for the last 2 decades.
Okay, so I guess then the next question, I would say you can't because those guys are so current right now. We're going to get one more movie with those guys in it.
My argument to that,
Yeah.
Spider-Man. Right?
Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man.
Tom Holland, like, did what I'm saying, which is we're gonna do justice to this character that has been fucked over so much.
I would like for that. And the sad thing is, like, I think of Storm, for instance, right? And I think the actress's name that played Storm this last time was Alexandra Shipp or something like that. I really like her.
Yeah,
I thought she's cool.
She has the look.
I saw her in Love, Simon. I'm like, this actor has chops. She could totally do this. Having said that, I want them to completely do away with all of those people and start over. And I would love it. I would fucking love it if they did what they're doing with Spider-Man, which is aging them down and making them. Let's do another one in the 80s and maybe start telling that story
in the 80s.
I would say, yeah. I mean, I don't want them to be introduced like, hey, this is a brand new thing. I'd like them to come up with some creative way of saying, like, the X-Men have always existed. We just don't really know about them. Like, we haven't interacted with them.
That's how you start screwing up the MCU, the existing MCU, and like we don't.
Well, they've already screwed up the existing MCU because there's no mutants in this world. Well, and all the things that are supposed to be mutants are called enhanced, and that's totally stupid. So
the miracles.
The what?
The miracles.
The miracles. Yeah,
that's
right.
what they're called. Yeah, my thing is, I like the idea of the mutants being a brand new thing. I like the idea of it being a modern take where it is 2018 and whatever, Avengers 4, I don't know what's going to happen, but like as a result of taking back the snap, this new gene is introduced into the world and that we are now seeing it kind of be opened up in different people and like dealing with it from the beginning. If we get another Magneto origin story, it being the Holocaust thing, I think that's going to be a disservice to the.
It's true because it is hard to. You would have had to integrate those in. Like that's the problem. Is like the X-Men should have been an integral part of the Marvel universe at this point. They should have been.
But with the undoing the snap or whatever they're going to do with that gives the chance to do that, right? Like, here's my question I have as we worry about what's going to happen in the next Avengers. BTW Tim too, since you're Mr. Everything. When do you think we see Avengers 4 trailer?
I think about this way too fucking often
because it's close-ish.
Well, the thing is, Captain Marvel is the weird X
We haven't
factor.
seen that trailer yet, right?
No. And by
when's that coming out?
Around the time Black Panther came out last year.
Okay.
Which by this time we'd seen a lot of Black Panther. So it's interesting that we haven't seen shit from Captain Marvel yet. Yeah. It's obviously all part of the plan. I really wonder what they're going to do with Avengers 4. This is getting a little bit too ideal, perfect situation. I talked to you about this, Nick, but how fucking cool would it be if Avengers 4, we get the title, like as a tease, maybe at the end of Captain America. I don't know. Or Captain Marvel. But how cool would it be if any trailer we see doesn't show any new footage of Avengers 4? It's just stuff from Avengers Infinity 3? War stuff, and it's all just hype, and it's all just MCU Studios, like, back hype, because everybody fucking knows. Right?
I think you have to, for Avengers 4, I like that a lot. I'd love them to do that, but I think they have to give us a taste. And what I would think the taste would be, because we've talked about this before in private with the rumors, and you've heard the rumor, right, is that a lot of time's passed. It's not picking up right away. Years have passed since the snap, right? I think if you did that where you're even open, it's just, a slow pan out of the TV or whatever, where they're doing, it's the 5-year anniversary of the snap, and everybody's like putting those lanterns into the sky or whatever the hell they're doing for memorial services around the globe. And then you do like the pan of like into whatever the Avengers HQ is now, and it's like that concept art we've seen of them all in kind of like matching uniforms, and it is like Tony being like, I've got a plan, I figured it out, you know what I mean? And then it is all the old footage, and it's just a VO from Tony Stark being like, we can go back, we can stop it from happening, we can do this.
I don't know what you're talking about of them in matching uniforms.
Remember how this thing got leaked? It's the first Avengers concept art, and it was concept art of like Hulk in like blue pants.
And so it was like a painning.
Something like that.
Interesting.
My other question is, and this pertains now to how we would introduce X-Men. What do you guys think? And I don't know if I have a strong. Do you think people are going to remember the snap? Are they going to undo it to a point that no one remembers? They all got blinked out of existence. Do they come back with some knowledge that they were gone? If we're 5 years in the future, are we rewinding it back to when the snap happened and picking it from there?
I think it really depends on what they do with the Soul Stone stuff. Like, it really depends on...
Because that's the rumor, right? That they're not dead. They're all in the Soul Stone.
And it depends on if that's canon or not. And, like, if that ends up happening and how the time travel and all that shit works.
Yeah.
Because, in my opinion, in a perfect world, it's not time travel in a way of, like, we go back and everything's fixed and we don't fucking know. It's time travel in the sense of they go back and everybody remembers everything.
Everybody?
What's up?
You want everyone? Usually it's only the person that's traveling.
Like Wolverine in Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
No, but he's saying like it snaps, but it's everyone comes back to life. And they go, fuck, where have I been for 5 years? And I remember dying, and I remember going away, and I remember sitting in this gem for 5 years and now being a part of the Soul Stone or whatever it is.
Missing time for those people.
Yeah, like you'd come back, like if Tim got snapped, I'd be like, Tim, you've been gone for 4 years, and he's like, yeah, it fucking sucked. Last time I
They're not
remember
going
was,
to do
like,
that. That's way too much.
My hand.
I don't think Peter Parker's teenage psyche can bounce back from that. If I was in fucking limbo for 5 years,
I mean, you wouldn't know. You just be like, wow, it's cool. I'm back. It was like yesterday for me leaving.
I thought you just said he would know.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. Sorry. Yeah, maybe they remember being in the Soul Stone, but maybe time works differently there where it's only a day. Who knows?
Have you guys discussed at all the title for the new Spider-Man movie?
Far From Home.
What?
Spider-Man Far From Home?
Yeah. It's interesting.
It is.
But I think it's more of him doing a world tour.
They're
kind of
going
thing,
to
right?
London. It's like, at least what they've been saying is that
maybe
it's
it is.
not like we're in a magic dimension. We're in London.
Who knows what they're actually do? Yeah.
I wonder if they'll broach the topic at all of we've been living in this world for 5 years where half the inhabitants are gone. Do you think anyone in the world's like, it's kind of better? Do you think they'll even come close?
A lot
to
of
that?
resources.
Like rents are really cheap in San Francisco right now because half the people are gone.
I think there's too many plot lines that they have to go into that I don't think they'll do that. That sounds more like a Netflix type show.
No, I just mean like I wonder if someone will make it, like if there'll be like a news announcement like since the snap, the economy is really doing great.
No, I think it'll be very dire and it'll be really shitty, and that it'll be. I think what's going to happen is they're going to go back, undo it, and then I think it'll probably be Tony and Cap are the only people who go back. They're the only people who remember what it was after the snap and all that stuff. But they defeat him, and in defeating him, they die, and that's gets them out of the thing.
Both of them?
Yeah.
But that's, I don't know. It's weird. They have to tread very lightly. Because why not someone else just pick up the gauntlet and be like, Snap, you're back. Like, you guys are awesome. Good job.
I don't know.
You know, that's the problem with this all-powerful tool is they really got to tread lightly on it and be like, how do we get it back? Like in the comic books, and correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Adam Warlock be like, I'm keeping this fucking thing?
Yeah, and he bounced out.
No one can fuck with me ever again. I'm just going to leave.
No, he didn't bounce out. Then we get the Living Tribunal coming in and being like, oh, you can't have that. You shouldn't have intervened. And then they have the whole, like, weird court thing.
And then he just fucks up time.
Is that an Infinity Gauntlet?
No, that's immediately after Infinity Gauntlet.
Okay.
I mean, at the end of Infinity Gauntlet, he is like, all right, well, this is mine now. I'll see you later. But then, the Living Tribunal, the three-faced dude. You know what I'm talking about?
It'll be interesting. Like, they have to treat this like this gauntlet can't keep coming back up, right?
Yeah.
So you can't be like, cool.
I think this thing is
You think it's here to stay.
destroyed by the end of
But you can't
Infinity
destroy
War.
the Infinity Stones,
Or
right?
the stones are interesting. I feel like they might be like imbued into people or some shit. I think they're gonna get rid of the
idea of the stones.
idea
and
of the
gauntlet.
stones
They have
going
to,
forward. Yeah,
because this has been too big. They can't do an Infinity Gauntlet 2, where it'd just be too crazy. But I mean, that does beg the question: like, what do they build up to next?
Scrolls.
The Dead Sea Scrolls.
No, Scrolls.
Skrulls. Oh, the
Yeah.
Skrull Kree invasion. Yeah, that's probably smart.
I think it'd be cool if they jump from this, they finish it up, it looks good, and probably don't get a teaser. Maybe get a tease in this, but like, cool, everybody's back, but some people aren't back. Some people are back, are actual Skrulls in disguise, and that's.
See, my thing is, I really, if there's anybody that can make it a good storyline, it is Marvel Studios. I really hope Skrulls isn't the next thing because
What do you want to see? Or do you want to see is X-Men the key to
I
that?
hope it's building all this stuff up and going from there and the new Avengers and whatever with Black Panther and Spider-Man and all that. And we'll see who's left of the core Avengers and how they handle that. But the Skrulls to me is almost as wishy-washy and scary of a concept as time travel, where it's like, and especially if you had time travel and Skrulls, of like, well, Hawkeye wasn't actually Hawkeye. He was a Skrull since this movie or whatever. It's like, it starts getting way too comic booky in a bad way.
Okay.
And I think Marvel's done a very good job of taking the comic book aspects and making it a movie thing.
Captain Marvel, not a Skrull, maybe a Skrull. Which the original Captain
he's
Marvel?
a Kree, right?
He's a Kree. Okay.
Yeah. So it's, but
Kind
that's
of a Kree agent that's been sleeper on Earth, and then that's how that worked, right?
So Captain Marvel might introduce all the Skrull stuff, but I almost doubt it. Like I think that they realize that that's going to open up too many issues potentially, and in being too confusing for the normal moviegoer that is not us. You know, like the fact that now Gia knows these characters, knows the villains, and like Curran and Shari and them know all of this shit. They can't fuck that up. You know what I mean? Like they need to make sure that they are keeping this all in a line that makes sense. And I feel like post Avengers 4 is going to be very tough to do that depending on what direction they go with the reversing of the snap.
They got to start building up to something, right? And that's going to be the hard thing. The other thing to keep into consideration too is when they're getting the X-Men, they're also getting Silver Surfer, right? And they're also getting Galactus.
Fantastic Four.
And Galactus
Galactus
could be
would be really fucking sick.
awesome
Galactus
if they
would be
built
awesome.
up to that. Like
Yeah,
a
that'd be
real
everyone.
Galactus, like the fucking, don't make him a cloud of shit out in the middle of space, like make him an actual character with lines and shit. That'd be dope.
Yeah, that'd be cool. It's just the problem then of just how do you
got to introduce Silver Surfer.
Well, no, but I mean differentiate him from Thanos. Stick with me. Just the fact that all right, so there's another big guy coming to eat the planet. Yeah, but I mean, I guess it's different. But
it's terrifying.
I think Doom's first.
Oh fuck
like,
yeah!
Doom I think makes them Doctor Doom.
Yeah. So do you think? I mean, because I feel like undoing the snap. This is how I would do it too. In this is X-Men now and Fantastic Four, but undoing the snap does there's some. One of the stones explodes, whatever. I don't know what it is. They have to use something that sets off a thing, and it activates mutant genes in people. I think, and it could. I think I'd be awesome in what we're talking about. It like simultaneously they were running some space mission, right? And it does like cosmic wave them, and then that's how you get the Fantastic Four and shit like that.
How do you though?
And tie it all back to that in their independent movies, right? Like even even in the background of whatever's happening, like there's newspapers or a news headline of like whatever whatever the Richards Incorporated, you know what I mean? I don't know what you call the Fantastic Fours. Reed Richards and his friends are going to space for something, but it's like not that.
Baxter building shit. So like,
it's not that on the nose, but it's like experimental space station, stupid millionaire sending up idiots. Like just do that, and then like their movie is, hey, we're getting ready to go up there, bomb, and then whatever happens on the Earth.
With so much of this is legal bullshit, and where Kevin Feige has even talked about like where they're at right now, and he could be bullshitting everybody, but. With the Disney Fox deal in its current state that we know of, I doubt we're seeing any ties to this future in Infinity War 2, whatever the fuck.
But you don't need to see it directly, right? That's the whole thing. Is like it is, boom. Like I'm thinking of a snap, but it's not. But you see it radiate through the Earth, right? Which Steve and Tony do whatever, it kills them, but it keeps everybody alive. But I mean, like you show that, and then in 5 years you're able to pick up and be like 5 years ago. And it is them on a spaceship. It is Charles Xavier working at a desk, and he gets bombed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but see, that's the thing though, because you're to do that, and I see what you're saying, and that's the most logical thing to do. But you're also basically destroying everything that makes X-Men, right? Like if Charles Xavier just now figures out that he's got this power.
But stick with me.
At what point does he go start a school for kids, and then like 20 years later we get the X-Men?
Well, no, because I mean, don't get me wrong. You're very much in line with. I think the problems of what I'm proposing, but if you did it where it was, we don't know what's happening, but we're gonna do this thing that we're theoretically one day gonna say made the X-Men, right? Boom, you do it, it happens, and then the X-Men movie is all right. 5 years ago, it's back, and it's Charles. He gets blasted, and he starts hearing it. He knows there's other people out there with mutant abilities that can't control him, but like we're ranking them up as enhanced when in reality,
that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna think. What if they took this angle, which is mutants have always been around, but we've never really, they haven't hit the mainstream until now. Right?
I hear you. I just feel like that's such bullshit.
But there's not a ton of them. But the ones that we thought were enhanced are actually mutants. Like when you look at Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver and all these people.
Well, they got experimented on in the MCU.
But that's what I'm saying. What if they got experimented on because
it activated their genes?
It activated their gene, and that was the whole concept of it. They could easily explain that away, being like, "We're not enhanced. What are you talking about? Oh, we're not calling them that anymore." They're mutants,
and that's my whole thing. All right, so
it's like shit.
We're on the same page here. Where I think, it would be Charles getting activated, realizing there's a problem. All these other enhanced whatever freaking out, not being able to control their powers, people turning on them, and then him for 5 years basically being like, they're not this, there's something else, we're all together, I'm building this school, I think I can train people, yada, yada, yada.
I like that just because I feel like we've seen X-Men, that story done so much, not just in movies, but in like every media. And I think that we need to see a totally different take on what X-Men could be. Because Civil Rights Movement and all that stuff, like they even joke about it in Deadpool. It's like it's an outdated fucking thing.
Metaphor
like,
for
how do we update that? Like what could what could X-Men mean to a new generation via the MCU, right? And I think that I imagine that's how they're looking at it. I imagine they're like there's now been literally 2 decades of movies that the only good thing about them is Magneto and Professor X's relationship, right? How do we move past that? Like how do we make these characters relevant to a new generation of people in the same way Iron Man went from nothing to something, right? They made a Spider-Man movie where Uncle Ben's death wasn't the source of his
doesn't really matter
heroism, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like with X-Men, there's a great chance. And
you're talking about Homecoming?
Huh?
You're talking about Homecoming?
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a source of his heroism.
Kind of, right? But we don't see that. And we don't know that though, right?
We do. Yeah, we do. Come on.
I mean, they don't explicitly say it, right? It's not necessarily.
I mean, his whole thing when you have the powers I have and the bad things happen and you don't stop them.
But my thing there is like
But in this case,
it's
I would
not
say
the story of him going out to be a wrestler and like doing this and like not.
I would say he wants to be more like Iron Man than he does want to be like
Exactly.
Uncle Ben, right? Like Iron Man's kind of his inspiration.
Sure, but I still think his. I mean, and granted,
I'm sure that's
this
his
is fun.
trigger, but
Yeah,
I'm saying like
okay.
he doesn't really make any mention to it except for one time.
Yeah. Well, it's because we all know great power, great
And
responsibility.
in
We don't need to
fucking
hear
the
that.
Tobey Maguire movies, it was every goddamn time he dozed off. Uncle Ben was there. Peter, why
guess
did
my
you
point
save me,
is-
Peter?
If the next Spider-Man movie builds up more of a backstory for Peter and we find out that Uncle Ben's death, maybe Uncle Ben's not even like who knows? Like there's hints in Homecoming that it happened, but maybe something different happened. I feel like that doesn't affect his character at all because he has the Iron Man character, and I think that is such a good take on let's take what matters about Spider-Man, but do it
So
differently.
here's
do it
what
more
I would
modern.
say then for the X-Men, and it's in line with what we're saying right now, right? We need a different take. We know stuff. They're activated. They're hated, right? And it's
They've got to be hated, yeah.
We don't have to dial it way back to the civil rights movement, right? It's similar to everything that's happening right now, right? Imagine like Muslim bans and everything else. There's a president in the office who wants all these people who are making trouble, in quotes, but really can't control their powers, right? And you have the sit-ins on college campuses and the fucking police walking by and pepper spraying everybody. Like you could use all that right now with current turmoil to use it over here for the X-Men.
And I think that is the way to handle this.
It'll be interesting though because they're going to have to build that up. I mean, it's easy to build up, but the question is like if you introduce mutants into this world right now, do they have the same impact now that all of these superheroes are established and all these people can do all these amazing things? Like, would it really be that bad if we're like, oh, that guy can run really fast?
Well, the difference
We've
is
already seen all these characters.
the
be
difference is
amazing.
it's the control and like we've seen this in Civil War and everything with them trying to like have the government intervene. But so far, the people with superpowers are all either former government agents or people that are super smart and whatever.
with the exception of the god that comes from space, Thor.
Well, there's that type of stuff. But here, these are literally normal humans.
Yeah.
Who one day
that
like fucking open their eyes and shoot rocks at their eyes.
It's the super geniuses, but it's also the shithead kids.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference of the fear of this is now happening to everybody. There's a problem. Whereas and that's the thing they always face in the comics too, of like,
Sure.
why are Avengers treated one way and X-Men treated another? But
Yeah.
it is literally we're all humans, but there's something different about you. It's the fear of the unknown.
I see that.
I like this.
Do you see them introducing an old Professor X, or do you
No.
think he's?
I think he's. Yeah, I think
mid-30s?
it's more like James McAvoy.
Do you think they do the bald thing?
Way
It'd be
down
so
the
lovely
line,
if they just
maybe,
gave
but
it-
I don't
just
know.
Let it go. Don't do the bald
Yeah,
thing.
I don't know. Probably not.
I mean, I really want to see a straight up shakeup of the X-Men.
Like he's
Straight
not in a
the fuck
wheelchair
up.
either.
There are certain things we need, and
That
I
would be
think
interesting.
Professor X and Magneto are those things. Like those have to be there in the core cast. Maybe switch out a couple people, but like I feel like you need those elements, but change them up. And I know that like just changing up little things like race isn't the biggest deal, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a black Professor X. Like just to say we're in a different world. In the same way, Homecoming, it's like Zendaya, is she Mary Jane? Is she not? It doesn't matter. She's the new version.
Yeah, we've already got Mary Jane. We've already seen Gwen Stacy. We don't really necessarily need to see. We don't need to see the comic book equivalent adaptation to these characters. We can play around with them.
and
And I
then-
guess my point is, I just want to say this before I get ripped apart. It's, I'm not just saying making them black makes them different. I'm just
No,
saying
you're
like,
saying you want
it doesn't need to be a
No, but you can
bald
open
white
it
dude.
up.
I
yeah.
feel the X-Men you're going to see are going to be drastically different. I don't think I keep half jokingly saying putting Laura Kinney out as Wolverine, right, and doing all new Wolverine, and I still think they might do that and could do that. And then what it would be is a great hook. Well, we get it backstory of like it's a 22-year-old Laura, right, and she's got the claws, and people are like, "Oh, how did you get this?" And she's like, "I'm actually a clone, but I don't want to get in." You know what I mean? Like there was a Logan, and he was what people called an enhanced, and they did figure out how to kill him in quotes. And like years and 3 movies in, you can do old man Logan and have him come back and not be Hugh Jackman, but maybe be Hugh Jackman, and like you know what I mean? Do all this cool shit with it.
It'd be interesting though. I my gut tells me they're going to go with a more traditional Wolverine because he's so popular and because they haven't done him.
Well,
right
that's
yet.
why I think you're crazy if you don't think they're putting him in the first movie when they finally can.
I would think they're gonna tease it, but I feel like that's going to be a gigantic like let's build some steam and then knock us out of the fucking park with whoever the new Wolverine is.
You can't put him in the first movie.
even as like the enemy, even at the like, what if it was just they're hunting Weapon X?
I think that's too similar to the Apocalypse cameo of Wolverine of just like, oh, we're just putting this in here just to put it in here. I think for them to do the X-Men world justice and to build out a franchise, not just, oh, we have the rights, we get to make the cool movie. Like that sounds like the cool X-Men movie, right? They need to have an Iron Man 1 before they have the Avengers.
But I also think, and I agree with that, and I'm just saying as far as recasting the Wolverine as a total different character, I think what they're staring down the barrel of is they're about to lose all their big stars. And I think they're about to lose all their, by that I mean all their characters, like Captain America and Iron Man aren't going to be the same character anymore beyond this. There's no way that they're going to be like, cool, Robert Downey Jr. Died. Let's cast a guy that kind of looks like Robert Downey Jr. or do facial reconstruction stuff. They're going to bring someone else totally in. Like in the comic books, it's a girl, right? Mm-hmm. Right now.
Well, it was for a while now. I mean, he's back.
Well, I assume that at some point they're going to shake that up. So why not? Let's shake it up over there, but let's bring in the Wolverine for the next 10 years and then give ourselves the latitude of recasting that later.
I understand you're making the Spider-Man analogy of obviously 3 reboots, right? Or like in our lifetime, or 3 versions in our lifetime. I just feel like overall, like we're not, outliers. Like the XCU in review was like a rough slog to get through. A lot of people feel that way. I don't want to see the same stories. I want to see it be different. I want to see it shaken up, and I don't.
But counterpoint, there's a lot of people that want to see it done right. Mm-hmm. And I'm one of those people. I want a fucking Wolverine movie like Logan. Why was Logan? Why did it take so long to get to Logan? How come they can't all be somewhere close to that?
Yeah.
And I want an X-Men movie that really does those characters justice. Again, they can be different, but it needs to feel like an X-Men movie. And to me, the core tenets of an X-Men movie is like, yeah, you are dealing like. I kind of disagree a little bit in that they need to shake it up and stay away from the idea of prejudice, because that is at the core of what they're fighting. They're fighting the idea of
no. I'm saying we need that. I just don't want it to be the Holocaust.
Oh, it doesn't necessarily need to be bad, but yes.
But I think that's important.
But it needs to be. They need to set up that mutants are these like ostracized group of people who have been bigoted, like had prejudice against them and are now what's the word I'm looking for? Either way, yeah, marginalized. They're a marginalized group. For sure, like that has to be the core of it. Totally. I wonder how you do. I mean, it's very easy to do. You just have to have like a senator or a president that hates them, and turns all of the world against them, which is very easy, evidently. But I don't know.
I'm not saying so on the nose of this, but we've seen now 10 X-Men movies, whatever it is. The dynamic between Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Wolverine, right? I do feel like if you build that up over multiple movies instead of introducing it in the first one and then kind of like just coming back to it constantly in the worst ways possible, that is a thing that they could do justice, right? I just think that change a couple elements of it, in similar to how they did in Homecoming, of just like who is who to who, then as an audience, that's going to make a lot of sense. They can put that into the world the MCU already built, and I think that makes the most sense because we haven't seen X-Men been done justice.
I'll tell you what, though. I mean, the idea of the love triangle is great. I would also not be hating it if they just ditched that altogether. If they just were like, we're not going to.
So then, what is it about the X-Men that you don't think they've done right?
What they haven't done right? Well, they haven't made a good movie yet, so that'd be a starting point, like an actual good X-Men movie.
But I mean, like in a real way of like storylines and of different elements of what they haven't done right in the X-Men.
They haven't done anything that comes close to Homecoming, as far as like, let's tell a story that makes sense. Let's tell a story that's a very human tale. Let's tell a story that's like is accessible. For the most part, it's just been these weird cobbled together movies.
What about Logan? Are we just not including? I mean, Logan. Just for the comments.
Logan, I loved, and I thought they really knocked it out of the park there. But they haven't done more of that.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why it's like you saying you don't necessarily want the love triangle. I'm saying I think the love triangle is necessary because it's. X-Men is all about the characters interacting with each other and having character development. And that leads into things like the Dark Phoenix saga meaning something.
Right.
Otherwise, what is X-Men?
I guess for me, I've always seen the Wolverine character, and then we'll get to the casting in a second, but I've always seen the Wolverine character as a bit older, and I always looked at sort of like I would love to see the Scott and Jean characters be young. So much so to the point where they would look to Wolverine as more of a mentor, like teacher character, an older man. Than this. They're not going to do that, by the way. If they cast the Wolverine, he will be in his mid-20s or mid-30s. He will be jacked and he will be young.
Older, though. I think that's what they're going to do, but I think there's going to be a love triangle thing. Creepy. It's going to be creepy.
Stay away from it.
But
I don't see Disney doing that.
I think they will.
I think that would be... We'll see. We'll see what they do.
They're not going to make them so young that within a movie or two, they're not 20.
Yeah, but at that point, you still have a mid-30s, like an older man hitting on someone who's close to their teens. I don't see this.
Same thing happened with Mystique, didn't it? Like,
what's that?
Mystique,
that was Fox, though.
It's
a different world. That's before we fired James Gunn for jokes that he made 10 years ago.
They're gonna do it. Mark my words.
Yeah. Also, aren't everybody in Disney animated flicks like 14? Maybe fucking left and right.
Hey, man, I'm not gonna say anything after that.
Cool. All right. Cool. I think if you, well, I mean, sure. We're bopping around where we don't even have we don't even know where we are. We're not even agreed on where we are. We're not a team, we're a time bomb.
I just don't see him. We have to get the classic X-Men characters, and they have to be done justice, being done differently, or the things we love about them being done correctly, because they're not going to first class this.
Do you think so? The one thing you're talking about, they need an Iron Man, they need this, they need that. Do you think you're going to get where you're going to get a Nightcrawler movie? We're not going to get X-Men. We're going to get, hey, we're going to introduce these characters in solo flicks and have them team up in. Like we'll do 3 or 2, and it is Xavier. It is just called X. It is him on this thing of trying to figure out where other people are, but not like building a team.
That's a real possibility that I would not be shocked to see. Even if
they build up to the Avengers, which is X-Men. So they introduce the characters little by little and put them out there.
I can see them even like marketing it slightly differently, being X-Men something, X-Men this, X-Men that, building up to
X-Men
Origins Wolverine. Yeah.
Nailed it. But I mean, if you did that, then I would love to see, a Magneto movie. You know what I mean? And just be Magneto and him wrestling with this and figuring it all out, right? And then, I mean, and even if that is Magneto, and I know you don't want it, but if it was modern take and totally different, him and Xavier, right? Of them both, their tangent stories, not
I do
connected.
want that.
Yeah.
Like to both of you have now, like, called me out on that. What I'm saying is, like, I just don't want it to be the same 60s storyline. I want it to be them having ideological differences for something that makes sense in 2018.
Sure. I mean in
the MCU world.
So that's where I think we are on the same page, right? The snap or whatever, the second snap, whatever we're gonna call it, activates these mutants, right? You have then Magneto who sees his guys, these other people that just like him. His power, right? And Charles, for the most part, are internal problems, right? I know I can move this shit. I'm sure I crushed my wife with it or something stupid. Charles has fucked a bunch of people in the head. They all dropped around him. But it's not like suddenly I look like Toad. I'm shooting fucking fire from my eye. You know what I mean? Like there are mutants in this new Snapping 2 world that can't control it, and they are being put in cages. They are being put on trial for things they didn't do. There are protests on college campus of people trying to stand up for these people's rights and them getting. And then you do have then what we're talking about, right? Where Xavier's testifying somewhere. He was a professor. He still is a professor, and he's trying to figure out like this isn't how to do this. And then you have Magneto Eric, right, who is on the other side of like similar. I mean, it's the same thing we're talking about, but MLK versus Malcolm X, like in terms of how they're strategizing and what they're doing. And it is this tangent story as they're trying to get to the same place, but they've both realized how many mutants there are and that they need to get them on their side.
They're up against an uphill battle. Like honestly, like the idea of the idea of using the snap makes sense, but man, that just if they do that wrong, it's gonna feel so cheap.
Totally,
it's gonna feel so bad and not
absolutely
earned at all.
Yeah.
And like to me, if someone was like, "Hey, someone snaps fingers," but I don't know, I want a more organic reason to introduce these characters into the world. Like to me, they need to have been there for a while.
See, that's my problem. I hear you, and unless they do whatever they do to undo everything, retcons a whole bunch of stuff, so we're used to seeing mutants. I just don't buy it that 10% of human population is mutants, and we've never seen them all fuck it all up.
Theory is that Professor X has been using his powers to block people from realizing there's mutants.
That would be, again, not great.
I think it's even more lame.
But at the same time, here's why I don't like the idea of retconning stuff with
Excuse me, Nick Scarpino, why don't you like retconning stuff?
Because it makes everything that came before it null and void, and that makes it feel cheap. That's like everything we've built doesn't matter anymore, and I don't like that. I don't like someone telling me that. I get why they would do it, and I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm not watching any more Marvel movies. But the idea of everything like, hey, we're going to change everything now for the direction of that feels not right to me.
Is that retconning though? Like that's not.
Well, if you were to go back and say, well, fair, if depending on the point where they go back and change stuff.
What you're saying would be retconning of adding them that they've been there the whole time.
Fair.
But weren't you saying that's one of the theories that Professor X has been
that's
blocking?
retconning. Yeah.
Okay.
No, retconning would be like, hey, we snapped. We're going back 20 years, and Iron Man never existed, and we're changing everything. That would be a retcon. I don't think adding elements is just adding new story elements. Like there are Captain Marvel's been there the whole time. We didn't know until 2 movies ago. That's not retconning. We just introduced new characters.
Yeah.
But isn't that what retconning means? Like retroactively changing
continuity.
Yeah, but they do that every single time they put a new character in, right? Like we're going back and retconning the continuity right now with Miss Marvel because the movie happens in the 90s.
I think Captain Marvel is one of the earlier cases of that. Well, I guess with Black Panther and his lineage, they also were like, oh, hey, Black Panther's been here, and you guys just didn't know.
But like the thing with that is like that's not so much retconning because like
retconning, I feel
like
you're hidden. We've seen stuff, it's established, and now we're going back and changing why or how that happened.
Okay, adding mutants,
that's what I'm saying.
They've been around for the last 4 years.
I don't think they're going to do that either way. It's a normal. I don't think they're going to go snap and then all of a sudden drastically things are changed. I just think that would not be good for all the goodwill they've built with the fans right now. They're too smart to do that. It's not going to happen. So it's a moot point to even argue that. That was stupid for me to bring that up. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like we need hints of it beforehand, and I feel like Charles needs to be. It would be really weird for them to be like, "Hey, the first mutant that we see is Charles, and he just discovered his powers." That's just kind of strange to me. But I mean, they could do it.
I mean, the thing is, like,
it's possible.
We're only talking about it as if it has to be by the time that we've seen these movies play out. The mutant gene being in the wild, starting then, it could have happened before Thanos came to Earth, but just a year before.
Yeah,
and so
you
know, the mutants are still in hiding because they're not. Like they're scared of what's happening or whatever. Like it doesn't need to be as a result of. It could be, or if there is a time jump, it could be during that 5 years.
Sure,
that's not because of the snap. But because of. I mean, that's just when it happened. That would be.
There's a million different ways to do it, right? Okay, there's been 5 years, and in that time, sure, the Avengers Tony Stark and everybody's been working on it. So have other people, and there was an experiment that went wrong that released some kind of gamma radiation or whatever, some kind of thing that activated genes and did all this
that
stuff.
might be the cleanest way to do it.
I like your idea though of the solo movies or whatever it is, leading into another movie, and I don't think it necessarily needs to
say standalone movies.
Standalone
solo movies make me.
You're right. Not standalone.
They trigger me.
And I don't think it would be like we saw with Avengers of 5 movies leading into one. It could even be. Imagine if they just had a movie called X, and it was Professor X. And that is the movie that explains the origins of the mutant gene.
Right. And why it's whatever the situation
with him starting a school.
Do you think it starts with mutants?
They've been here forever.
But like that could imagine that. Like it's what if it was his life from being 12, not having any powers, being a smart guy, like whatever it is. Very different take than we've seen in the First Class trilogy. And then by the end of the movie, he starts at school, and then the next movie, at least in that line, would be X-Men. Right?
Yeah,
it's possible. Could be cool. And then be him as the teacher to this first class of mutants being Cyclops and Grand.
Question for you stick with me. How outrageous would it be if Disney did this? Like, cool, we're doing this. We're doing the X-Men. We're doing it right. We're gonna blah 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 blah, and they didn't put it in the MCU.
Fucking racist.
Stick with me. They give them their own universe, and they build to X-Men versus Avengers or whatever, where it is that there's a crossover occurrence. There is a tear in the universe thanks to Galactus doing something, right? And so like the Avengers movie ends with them seeing, seeing the X-Men or vice versa and crossing over and all this jazz. And then they do a Ultimate Universe 616 and combine them.
I hate it. Absolutely hate it. I can see them pulling it off and enjoying it very much at the end result, but that sounds like a very bad idea to me. It sounds like a very easy answer to getting to the next big thing soon. It took us 19 movies to get to Infinity War. I feel like that would take us 5 movies of having the X-Men involved. Sure. And I feel like eventually we're gonna see in our lifetime X-Men versus Avengers or Avengers versus X-Men, whatever you want to call it. And it's gonna be fucking cool. But like we need to build to that. And I think that's gonna be more of a Civil War-esque situation.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing is, we don't know. For the first time ever in the MCU, we don't know what's happening next.
I don't like it.
We don't when Phase 3 was coming. We knew all these movies, right? Like we knew that that we were gonna get a Doctor Strange, we were gonna get an Ant-Man, we were gonna get Black Panther. We don't know what happens after 4. After 4, and with a lot of things that they've said in interviews, I can see them not building towards one big major storyline and it being just a bunch of kind of like we're doing movies for a while. Yeah. It's all in the same continuity, but we're not like.
Sure, there's not like
every single thing builds towards this huge. I could see a phase of more experimental movies like Thor Ragnarok that aren't building towards something, but they're just like, wouldn't it be cool if?
Yeah.
And then putting things together.
Do you think in the same thing we're talking about, XCU having its own universe, what about an Ultimates universe where it was X-Men and it was Fantastic Four and it was Miles Morales? And then then there's an Ultimates crossover, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
20 years from now,
eventually, maybe. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I feel like Spider-Man they just did it. It's brand. You know what I mean? Like, they're not gonna fuck with that character for a long time. And then the other thing to consider is this: like, they spent a lot of money on the X-Men. So my question is, how quickly do they get another one of those movies out? Like, when they got to be thinking, like, we got to get a fucking X-Men movie out ASAP.
You got to imagine though, it's not gonna happen. Like, I think we're gonna get the equivalent of. And granted, movies move a lot faster now in the MCU than they used to. But I think we're going to see a good year or two of MCU movies. So that's probably between 3 and 6 MCU movies that after Avengers 4 that are not X-Men or Fantastic Four. And I think if we get one of them, I think it's going to be Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four is such an easy get. And I don't understand how they have not been able to actually make that movie good.
Hey, man,
I just don't get it.
The 1 and 2 weren't that bad.
Alternatively,
Jesse Alba?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
The blonde hair.
Yeah, you might have to eat those words. The other thing that to consider is like they have Silver Surfer now, which opens up the entire like universe and galaxy.
Well, I mean, they already had that opened up with like Guardians, right?
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
They have done a good job of hey, here's how we're making Cosmic make sense.
Yeah.
Even though now Guardians is on ice.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with Surfer because that's building into the Galactus, and I would love to see them do that storyline.
Yeah,
better.
no, I mean
That'd be fucking amazing.
I don't know. It'd be awesome to see Galactus as the cosmic threat, and you have all these space characters that you've introduced having to deal with that kind of thing, and then what Doom is up to on Earth.
Yeah. I mean, Doom. I don't know. Is Doom that big of a baddie in the comic book world?
Yeah,
like he's that.
Latveria runs his own country. Yeah, no, I mean world taking over bad.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But yeah, he also messes with the cosmic cube and all that kind of shit. He wants to rule everything. Yes, Kevin Quell from KindaFunny.com.
It would be really cool for them to build up to Galactus coming.
I think,
yeah, but for like an overall arcing like 10 movie. Like little hints of
sure, exactly, yeah.
Similar to how they do,
especially because it makes sense for him too, in terms of not having to retcon the mutant gene in. But hey, the word spreads that Thanos is dead. Thanos has been vanquished, right? Like the Mad Titan is gone, and that makes its way to Galactus, way on the outskirts. He's like, oh, it's mine to rule now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he gets to move back in.
He's like, I'm fuck cool. No one gets in the way.
And it's not even. It's like. Yeah, it's a conversation somewhere in a spaceport or bar or whatever, and then it's like, it's Silver Surfer with like a hood up or whatever, and then he like leaves and gets on his board.
Well, I think you do the opposite. I think you do what they tried to do with the second movie, where Silver Surfer is a bad guy in the first movie.
Oh, 100%. Well, Silver Surfer on his board was going to tell Galactus Thanos is dead.
Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah, like it's so interesting because they're not going to do any of that stuff in the second Avengers, the fourth Avengers rather. They're not going to have Galactus fight Thanos.
Oh yeah.
It's just not going to happen. Like they're not going to do what are they called? Not the Ethereals, the Immortals or whatever they were. Time, eternity, all that shit.
I almost had it.
Celestials.
Celestials.
Yeah, so they're not doing any of that stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how or when they introduce him. But man, I want a Silver Surfer movie, and I want it to be groovy, man. I want it to be just like the Power Cosmic. Let's go.
You just want to be badass or bad guy the entire time? Or you want his story getting broken out of Galactus?
I think with Surfer, you introduce him as the bad guy, like they tried to do in the second one, and then we get an origin story movie, and then we get the battle with Galactus.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I think we hate him first, and then we see him, and then he becomes the good guy, and then potentially into the movie after that where he is
like Loki.
Exactly like Loki, except Silver's better and dope.
No.
Although the question is, how do you do Silver?
Definitely no.
Better than Loki?
I'm a Loki fan over Silver Surfer.
Wow, man.
People love Silver Surfer. I'm not one of them.
I don't have a horse in this race, to be perfectly honest.
Silver Surfer's one of the guys who just gets points for being cool. He's cool. He's silver and he's got a surfboard.
He's the fucking
going through the galaxy.
World,
come on, man.
It'll be interesting. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they do another one of those, and if they do, how they introduce the character. Because one of the hard things about making a surfer the main character is that he's not very expressive. You know, like so we'll see if he has like a normal form and then a surfer form would be interesting.
We just watched 3 Spider-Man movies where we can't see his mouth and his eyes don't change, and I think we're about to watch 2 more. Like I think they can get around Surfer.
You think so?
The Surfer he can emote just fine. I think.
Fair point.
He can emote far more than most of the people we just saw that are in the spider suits.
Good point.
I feel when the MCU succeeds the most is when it takes what the Marvel Universe has built over 60, 70, whatever the fuck years.
Yeah.
That's existed, and takes what works and tries to adapt it. And when it doesn't work, they adapt. And I think we've seen that with Thor, where as far as I know, Thor's never been this doofy, funny guy that we saw in Ragnarok and in Infinity War.
Yeah.
Like in the Ultimate series, they kind of played the role, or that played him as like, oh, you're this guy that is a drunk that thinks he's a god.
Oh, yeah.
And then eventually it's revealed he is a god, which is such a cool fucking thing to do. But we've never really seen him as
funny guy,
as this guy he is. But the MCU was like, this is what we need him to be.
Yeah.
We've had now multiple movies where Thor is everyone's least favorite part. So how do we change that? And I think they did a great job. And I think that they're going to do a good job with X-Men and with Fantastic Four and with all these new characters.
I have the utmost faith in the MCU, right? Yeah. In their team, right? Of like, they've made everything awesome. I never thought I'd care about Guardians. I never thought I'd care about Black Panther. I never thought I'd care about Ant-Man. The list goes on.
Yeah.
I currently have no real excitement for Captain Marvel, but I'm sure I'm going to love Captain Marvel. I love Brie Larson. She's great in her movies, but I know nothing about this character, really. And I'm like, all right, let's see what happens.
So cast of the first X-Men movie.
I still don't think we can do it.
Really?
There's no decision.
No, I'm saying cast of. Sorry. I meant who's the cast?
Yeah. I don't think any of us are on the same page. We have to pick what the movie is to go on and cast it, I think. You know what I mean? Otherwise...
let's just go off what we think the first X-Men movie is.
So I think it's going to be an Xavier story. I think it's going to be called... we're sticking with what we've pitched here. It's going to be called X. It is Professor X as Charles Xavier. Charlie, we'll call him. Okay. You know what I mean? He runs a bar in Philadelphia with his two friends. Okay. Danny DeVito is there. Oh, okay. No, I think that's where it starts. And I think you do have to... But then it's got to be... It can't be First Class, and it can't be what we've seen before, right? So it's got to be a Professor X solo film of him wrestling with this, and I guess chasing down Magneto. So we're gonna cast this.
Okay,
we're talking about the first one.
Okay,
so we're pitching the first movie right now from everything we've talked about.
Give me the pitch.
Well, you're on it with me.
X.
So we're Professor X. It's X. It's Professor X, and I think then it's got to be Magneto, which I know has been done before, but I think it is two young contemporaries as they're going through trying to figure this out and leading different sides of the same battle of what's happening with all these new enhanced, but no, they're mutants. They're different. They're us. We have to fix them. Yes or no?
Yeah, that sounds good. Let's go with that.
Now, can we come up with something different than Magneto? Don't want to say better then.
Sure. I mean, you can go hard and go sinister.
See, I'm thinking, and this is crazy, but to get him into the MCU, is there some character from the MCU we can put him up against to kind of build into the world?
Sam Rockwell.
You want him to be the bad guy or the good guy in this?
X?
Yeah.
X being the good guy, but going up against some element we've seen already, or I don't know. Like, it could even just be, it doesn't need to be a bad guy, but it could just be the MCU government against him or something.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
I mean, it could be him versus S.H.I.E.L.D. You know, whatever the new form, new
So what are Professor X's motivations in this then? You know what I mean? Like, if we're moving away from the civil rights thing, is he like a Greenpeace activist for mutants that's like infiltrating and blowing things up and fucking shit up and trying to free his people? But then isn't he just Magneto then?
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing, is I feel, and granted, my X-Men scope is limited. It's the cartoon, it's some of the games, it's the movies, right? So I mean, I don't know all these different iterations of him, but I feel like he's got to play that pacifist role, really, right? Of like, there's a better way, and I'm trying to save these people through these means. And that's why I need a team to protect and defend. Yeah, more than be on the offensive.
I mean, it all depends.
What you're talking about, what you're talking about, what I would say then is it's not X, it's Magneto. And Magneto is this agent who is the Greenpeace guy who is going in and doing this stuff, and he's on college campus and he's fucking people's guns up while they're trying to shoot protesters, and he is going up against S.H.I.E.L.D. He is going up against Nick Fury because they've labeled him a terrorist in this fight. And then they bring in this expert Charles Xavier who they don't understand is a mutant as well. And he's using that kind of thing. And then there is the moment of them meeting and understanding each other and like, wait, why are you working for them?
There's definitely something. I mean, people, like, if there's one thing superhero movies and critics have taught us, is that we like superhero movies where we can feel sympathetic towards the villain, right?
Yeah. And
like time and time again, that's the case. And that's why Infinity War is our number one currently in the MCU in review.
Great movie.
And so I kind of like this. I just don't know if I like the idea of it being Magneto. And I feel like people can relate to that. They'd understand what's going on there. And if we did introduce him into the world and dealing with all the gene stuff going on, mutant Gene, not Jean Grey.
Yeah, see, I don't know. My brain goes an opposite way, where it's a little bit smaller of a story, where it's Cyclops. I'm sorry, not Cyclops, excuse me. Professor X potentially like discovering Jean Grey and having to save her from herself or something like that. You know, like it's a smaller movie where someone does come to him and they're like, you're the only person that understands this person, and she is destroying shit and doesn't understand how to control her powers, and she has to be stopped. And he has that moral conundrum of saying, like, either I can probably stop this person, or I have to figure out how to kill this person, but what if I helped this person instead? And that's the crisis of conscience that he faces, where it's like kill or help, and then goes toward the help, and then that changes everything.
See,
do you know what I mean?
I really like this because if we take the idea of let's just say that the mutant gene is a new thing in the MCU. It's 2019 that this thing is exposed to everybody, and Professor X is a professor at a school, or at least a very smart individual.
Well, he knows how the mind works and knows how to like, train himself, but it doesn't quite have a grasp of his powers either.
He's a smart guy, not in the way that we've seen with Bruce Banner or Tony Stark or whatever. He's a smart guy in a very philosophical way, right? Psychology and that type of stuff. And so when this thing happens and he becomes a telepath, because he's older and more intelligent and grown, he has a better grasp on it. Yeah. So then when he finds Jean Grey, or like Jean Grey when this stuff's happening, he does go to her to like, because she's a young kid at this point.
Right. And he has to figure out, I mean, and a lot of intricacies can happen there. I just feel like the idea of him versus Magneto is like, you have to then, of course, introduce the concept of like, you have to introduce the concept that Magneto knows what's going on and find someone that makes him the helmet, right? Otherwise, how could he possibly think to stop Charles Xavier from mind controlling the shit out of him and having him just walk into a cage?
Well, I mean, isn't this the same thing of like what you're talking about though? That Charles doesn't have a grasp of his powers yet. He's not the Professor X that can kill everybody in Logan. He's a Professor X that can read minds, but maybe not influence people yet.
And I like that.
He can move things.
I really like the idea of having these movies be the origin story for these characters. And I know that like we're so sick of origin stories, but I feel like with the X-Men, we actually got to take it back.
Yeah,
and go from there.
It would be interesting to see. So working Magneto into this, if it was Magneto, if the three main players were Magneto, Jean Grey, and Professor X, it would be interesting if you flipped it and made it Magneto is kind of the good guy in this, even though Professor X is the main character, but he sees like Magneto's trying to protect Jean Grey and Professor X is trying to like stop her and stop them, and then he's viewed by them as the bad guy, and he's morally like I don't know where I'm gonna be.
Wasn't it in the Ultimates Professor X turned out not to be a good guy, right? Weren't you talking about this with Kevin the other day?
Yeah, the Ultimates gets really crazy.
But I mean, like
that's a while.
Again, that would be the thing of like when you guys are talking about no offense, but I mean like Professor X and Jean Grey, and like I'm like I don't want to fucking watch that movie again. Like I feel like I've seen this flashbacks, whatever. Even Jean Grey mentioning shit.
Both hot.
But I'm saying like I would love it if we went into that movie thinking that's what we were gonna get, and guess what? No, Magneto is the one who's actually on the right side of history. Right. Professor X is a bit bad. It turns out he's the bad guy. They fight him off. They kill him like every other movie, and then it is Magneto and Jean Grey being like, "I'm starting the X-Men." You know what I mean? Maybe at the last second, Professor X saves them. He's like, "Well, I'm gonna call them the X-Men." You know what I mean? And we're gonna do this thing, and not be that on the nose about it. But you know what I'm saying? Of like, well, I'm gonna build this team now, and he gets all new Wolverine like he should.
All new Wolverine. I don't know.
We're getting a male Wolverine in these movies.
Fucking, I'm sick of big time Hollywood.
I really think that we do.
Okay.
I think we might get.
Thanks. Can I get more water?
Lore or some younger female Wolverine in addition, but
yeah. So
this is interesting though. How far can we go with this? Is it ruining the X-Men if Magneto's the good guy and Professor X is the bad guy? Going forward, like that's just this is the world that we're building.
Oh, you mean just going forward, like Magneto's the good guy?
There's no end flip.
Well, I mean, end flip where he gives his life. Like, I mean, like, you know what I mean? It is that thing at the last second. He's like, I was kind of wrong or whatever. Yeah, because, why would you call them the X-Men? That's my one. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we need to get back to.
M-Men.
We're the M-Men.
We're the men.
We're the men. Man. No, I don't think that ruins it, because I think it's like everything else we've ever talked about in any of these movies, where change, whether it be in video games, the internet, or comics, is always met with what? Organic web shooters, and everybody's fucking furious, right? But you're talking about Homecoming now, where it is like, cool, Zendaya's MJ, but it's maybe not Mary Jane, and it doesn't really matter, and there's no Gwen Stacy, and this isn't the end of the world. You're all gonna be fine. You know what I mean? Like,
that's a smaller change, though. This is the equivalent to being like Peter Parker is not Spider-Man.
I guess,
which has happened.
Here's the thing: when you really stop and think about what makes the Avengers, it's that they are superheroes that work together as a team to solve conflicts. When you look at Spider-Man and the story, what's it about? It's about Peter Parker on a very small scale in a city and the inhabitants of that city connecting with each other in different ways. When you look at X-Men, it is about ideological conflict between two different sides, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like as long as you keep that intact, it doesn't matter what changes you make, who's on what side or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I mean you're absolutely right, but Greg's question of like how do you call them the X-Men then does become a little bit more of a bigger problem.
Not if it's called the X gene.
That's true.
That's because it is, and like that's I think like calling Professor X and the X-Men, that does get a little bit
on the
weird.
Nose, yeah.
It's very 60s comic book, right?
Sure.
But
we've already gone one way with this, and I like where we're going.
Yeah.
One thing I'll float out as a different take on this, right? What if we did it this way, where, oh fuck, I lost the name of it. Nick, I need your help. Quentin Tarantino movie, The Bear Jew. They kill Hitler.
Glorious Bastards.
Inglourious Bastards.
yeah.
What if we did that, where the gene's been activated? We have all these mutants. They're being taken. There's all this conflict. It's in the courts and it's on the campuses and it's all this different shit. But then, stick with me. I know him from Marvel Heroes and God rest its soul. What a great game that was. But like, the guys who carve the M in their head and they're like the purifiers. They're the humans that are going out and killing mutants in the streets and shit.
Fucking forget.
The Morlocks.
No, but those guys, the humans that are like, mutants are an abomination. We're out here basically lynching them, right? And then it was that we had the Inglorious Bastards that are the X-Men. They move underground, off the radar. They're there to free these other mutants, take out these bad guys. It's a smaller conflict in this bigger story, but they're what I mean, like something to float out and think about. I like where we're at already though, with Magneto being the good guy.
But I think that group of people has to be integral to this first one anyway. Right? Who is hunting them down? Is it the government? Is it these Morlocks or not Morlocks? Excuse me. I'm calling them Morlocks.
For the movie we're talking about,
by the way.
For the movie we're talking about, yes, it is the government. It's whatever S.H.I.E.L.D. is now. Not good guy S.H.I.E.L.D., the bad guy S.H.I.E.L.D.
Hydra.
Well, yeah, but is it? I mean, it's not. Maybe it is Hydra. That'd actually be interesting. Hydra's out there. They've got Professor X on their side. They're doing all this shit.
I don't like this.
You don't like anything, Kev?
The thing is,
I like
the
it.
MCU has built so much shit that we know and are familiar with in this world. We have to play with it.
Oh, S.H.I.E.L.D. has to be involved. Like S.H.I.E.L.D. has to be hunting these people down.
Whether or not it's S.H.I.E.L.D., though, like whatever, like iteration we have after the snap, because like S.H.I.E.L.D.
But that's the
currently
thing, like,
doesn't
isn't it a thing?
exist.
Yeah.
But that's true. But I like the idea of that moral ambiguity, right? Where it's, hey, we have to save these people from themselves. We're S.H.I.E.L.D. And that's always been S.H.I.E.L.D.'s MO, where it's like, we're gonna protect.
We know better.
Or we're gonna do the ends justify the means, and the means can get pretty brutal sometimes. But ultimately, it's about protection. You're like, well, how far does that go? And they played with that idea with Captain America in Avengers and all that stuff. So I like the idea that S.H.I.E.L.D. is or the government is trying to do the right thing, but they're just going about it the wrong way. I just don't know which side Xavier has to be on that one.
Bad guy. He's a bad guy.
What if
I'm sold on it.
They
I'm sold
go-
on it.
What if they go a very different direction with this? Let's say there is no solo movie going into it. It is just X-Men. But the whole thing is we're just kids that don't know how to deal with this, and we're learning. And it's similar to Homecoming in the sense that they're really young, but it's more of a puberty type story, like high school type story with it, where it's like that love triangles is all that there is. And I'm not talking about Wolverine. I'm talking about, let's say, Kitty Pryde's involved. Like since we're not stuck to any continuity here, our first line of X-Men could be anybody that we want. I feel like we do need Cyclops, we need Storm, we need Jean Grey, probably Iceman, right? But
This is
then
the problem. You start going down. You're like, I want to see these people in it. I want to see Iceman in it.
But I don't think that's a problem. I think that there's a reason that those are the core. You know,
It just it's hard to rectify without that pitch you just made. And by the way, Greg, your lines are amazingly straight. I just wanted you to know that you're very good at this. It's hard to have that without there being some level of mentor character. Right, when you say you've got an aimless group of kids that are running out there, like the power of X-Men's always been like somebody like a Tony Stark has to come in and be like, we need to figure out what to do with these people.
I'm saying still have X.
Okay,
but I'm saying let's not
He's
have
mentoring him in a bad way.
like that would be fucking cool. But I'm not saying. What my point is maybe not having it be this thing where there's this big villain coming in to fuck everything up.
Yeah.
Like it could be very small story for the first movie of just them learning their powers and trying to use them, and not in a way like First Class where it's like, we got to learn our powers to fucking fight this other group. More just like, yo, we really just need to learn our powers, and then build up to the storyline of, fuck, we're kids that never, we were just trying to control this. Now we need to use it to fight. Yeah. That could be really interesting.
I still think they go the way of, I like your idea. I think if you go with that, though, you have to go with, there is an imminent threat that has been set up, and these kids are being hunted down, and that threat is like the Sentinel program or something like that. Like, I really loved how the original cartoon series starts off, which is like, we're introducing Sentinels right off the fucking bat. These things are gigantic, like mutant hunting things, and that's because this new threat, quote unquote threat, is being seen by the government as, you know, these are mutants, and these kids do not know how to deal with their powers, and they're pushed toward the Professor X character.
I think the problem with that is that the funny thing about X-Men is we don't ever really get the origin stories, right? Yeah. It's like we're kind of just thrust into of like Professor X is a thing, these are a thing. We go back later and hear about like the origins of this or that, but it's like we never really get stories of day zero. The gene is out there.
It's activated.
And it's activated. Like what's happened. It's like a zombie apocalypse thing. You never really get the initial storyline, right? And I think that that's what these movies have to do, is have that really, really, really early
Probably.
days.
I mean, that's what they're good at, right? The movies we love most are the origin stories movies. So we have to have some level of that introduction into this. Like, it'd be weird if Xavier was just a known thing. Like, I know I'm kind of contradicting myself from earlier, but like, you're right. Thinking about it, like, we've got to see his story to some degree, or someone's story to some degree. Yeah.
But with
Unless it's Wolverine, in which case, introduce him. Don't make any reference to where he came from. Let him be the Wolverine
We're good.
for a while.
We're fucking good.
Let him just be it.
What's up, Kev?
I was gonna say with Spider-Man we didn't get an origin story, and I felt like that was really refreshing.
But that's
at
because
this
we've
point.
gotten so many origin stories. I'm saying with the X-Men, we don't have that. You know? Like certain characters, like Logan, we have too much origin story. But a lot of the other, and I'd say Magneto is another one of those. And Xavier, to an extent, it's the whole thing. But like, I like the idea of, in the very earliest stages, what if the movie was more like a weird montage thing? Of
Weird
like,
science.
of just a bunch of different characters getting their first experiences, learning this shit, and like kind of the movie culminates with them all coming together. But it's like a bunch of like all the main different characters, Professor X, Magneto, the kids all being in the same, given the same amount of screen time, the same amount of focus. But it is one movie that's an origin story, but it's all of their origin stories.
Yeah, that could work.
And we don't see an overlap until maybe like midway through the second act or something.
Yeah, there still needs to be a threat, though. There still needs to be something hunting these kids down.
Yeah.
There needs to be something driving them together.
Whatever program from the government's been
Yeah,
deployed.
there's going to be, like, no matter
The
what, there's
Sokovia
going
Accords
to
Part
be,
2.
there's going to be a mutant program by the government that's going to be, like, outwardly, hey, everything's cool. We're just kind of, and inwardly,
Well,
like, we're fucking torturing
okay,
these kids and have to figure out what's going on because we want super soldiers.
If only Gary Shandling was still around.
What if the MCU?
R.I.P.
What if this thing happens and all of a sudden, like a bunch of people having these different fucking feelings in themselves, whether
Yeah.
they're kids or teenagers or adults or everybody, right? And let's say there's like news reports of 5% of the population, or not even, let's say 1% of the population has come forth as having weird things happening to them. Our hospitals are being overrun with all this shit. And it's like, then it is kind of a thing of all the different characters dealing with it and then being like, fuck, how am I going to do this? And there's certain characters like Magneto that can have whatever backstory they want of just like, fuck this, I'm not letting people hunt me. This is how this is going to end. Or if we flip it with Professor X or whatever. But there being a kind of Logan-esque safe haven that they're saying in the movie where it's like, everyone come here. Like, if you're feeling weird, we have this hospital.
Feeling weird.
But you know what I mean?
I totally
Like,
get it. But just people are showing up. I got a scratchy throat. They're like, that's not what we mean.
Not that kind of weird,
Not
sir.
that kind of weird.
That's what WebMD is for.
Here's some penicillin. We'll see you later.
But maybe even that, and that could be even it, where it's just like people are freaking out because there's this thing happening to humanity. I think they won't go with this because it's too similar to the snap of like such a huge thing happening to the world at once. But like that could be the thing where that's why all of them are heading to one place. But through their backstories, we figure out their different intentions of what they're going to do when they get there.
Yeah.
Where Professor X is like, I'm going to get there because I'm the smart guy and I'm going to try to talk to these people and be like, this is okay. Your changes are beautiful, whatever. And then Magneto's coming in like, nah, fuck this. They're trying to gather everyone there to kill him.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because then it's not Sentinels. Then it's not this like, because I feel it's a little quick to jump to the Sentinels. But it's like, I like the idea of, I just don't know who would be behind that.
There was a story. Wasn't that already a story where it was the living island?
Utopia?
No, it wasn't Utopia.
New Genosha.
I think New Genosha might be right. It was when they introduced the X-Men class that we grew up with from like '96, where they went to go rescue the original class.
I don't know.
The original class.
Yeah,
New Genosha, isn't that from Princess Diaries? Isn't that what Anne Hathaway ruled over?
It was actually a similar name.
That's actually in the X-Men universe.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Fuck, I didn't know that.
Yeah, her grandmother that
Dame
comes.
Judi Dench.
Genosha.
Is a shapeshifter.
Wow,
That's actually
fuck.
a mistake.
Wow.
Weird.
Wow,
Super weird.
it's really weird.
So either way, if let's just say there's an X movie, right?
Sure.
Who's the cast in that?
If Professor X is evil, Kelsey Grammer.
Damn.
Just putting that
Bringing
out
him
there.
back.
Yeah, I know, right?
Hey,
Because it'd
man.
be a fun thing. You get one movie of because Kelsey Grammer, charming. Kelsey Grammer, read me the fucking Yellow Pages and I'm in it. But then at the end, when he turns out to be bad, he does the evil Kelsey Grammer shit. Fuck me.
I feel like you're like, Kelsey, put that Frasier reboot on hold.
Exactly.
And let's just go deep one more. What do you think it would take to get Kelsey Grammer back to the X-Men universe?
Not hard. Hey, you don't have to be in the blue makeup. Oh, fine. Now I got a paycheck. Sure, I'm in.
That'd be great.
If Magneto's evil, Steve Harvey.
Damn.
Nailed it.
I feel like this whole topic was just so you could say the word
just so we
Steve
can
Harvey.
get to Steve Harvey.
Thanks for watching, everybody. So what movie are we picking? I still think that's key to casting this.
Yeah, totally. I think that for the sake of this conversation, we should start with a movie called X.
Okay.
What is that movie though? We need.
Are we doing Magneto's the good guy and
That's a big
Professor X the
question,
bad
man.
and Jean Grey? Because I like the idea of it ending with
I don't like
Magneto and
Professor X
Jean Grey
dying.
being like, we have to. Well, he's locked up. You want him to be good?
No, I want him to then be the bad guy.
Going on. You don't want him to just be bad for one movie. You want him to be the continuing threat.
Yeah,
Okay, I can give you that.
If we're going with this, and that's why I think this falls apart because I don't like bad guys as telepaths.
Yeah, but that's the thing. When I said he's the bad guy, I meant of this story. But he thinks he's doing the right thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
like he
that
thinks
does, yeah.
this person, like, obviously they were like, we need to get this guy to help us out because this other person is a telepath and a whatever the hell her other power is. She can levitate shit, right? Or is she just a telepath?
Telekinetic.
Yeah, doesn't you have telekinesis?
Telekinesis.
They're like, we got to get this person to end this other person, and then Magneto comes to her aid, and he's fighting those two, but he's still maybe potentially even the protagonist of the story. And they're the antagonists, except you sympathize with them too because they're being hunted down. That's what I would go with on this. And then eventually he has a change of heart at the end and being like, oh shit, I'm doing the wrong thing. Like I'm trying to, like he gets to a point where he has to kill someone. He's like, I can't do this. This is wrong.
You're a fucking pussy.
I have to, I should be saving this person. I should be giving this person an olive branch and helping her learn her powers. And by that point, Magneto's like, I am galvanized against you. You have fucked me up and we are going to fight forever. And like, see what this, he uses like, see what the government will do to kill you. And
I just hope they don't do the hunted down storyline in the first movie. I think you need there to be a buildup and for you to know a cast of characters for that to mean something.
I think they could do it though, because I think they could do. There's been this like undercurrent secret operation to hunt these things down that no one really knows about, and that's maybe where they start. Because it would be interesting to play with the idea of maybe this thing just happened, but it's not out yet. Nobody knows about it yet. Nobody knows that there's this undercurrent, this tidal coming, this tidal wave coming.
It's just so difficult because I just don't buy that you could do that. Though, because the whole part of X-Men and why people hate them is that they're fucking crazy. Like they can't control it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You want to tell a much smaller story. You tell the story of just this government organization trying to hunt down these few people that have this extraordinary ability, and then at the very, very end of it, you introduce the concept of like, once whoever's learned their lesson and whoever's the main character of this, which I assume would be like Professor X, is you get to the end of it and he thinks, well, wait a minute, there's more of us. And now my job in life is to gather those people and help them and train them and help them.
How they been hiding
society? Because
the guy's got laser eyes.
But I mean, that's the thing. I don't know. Maybe he's not the first person. Maybe it's just the person that can control weather. And it's like nobody's ever figured it out.
There's the constant storm cloud over storm. And she's walking like raining just on her.
Well, you know what I mean? But like who would know? Like there's this world where the fucking thunder god comes from the clouds every once in a while. You're like, maybe Thor was over there. Like, I don't know. You know,
no.
People have been making their best kept secret to keep this stuff under wraps, or the mutant gene just started expressing itself, and now he's like, oh my God, this is my lot in life, is to go help these people.
What if there was an eclipse and that's what was really setting it all off, and that's what activated all the powers?
Do you remember the movie Day of the Comet, where the comet goes overhead, and if you're not in lead, it just turns you to dust?
No, but that sounds cool. It's similar to that movie I was telling you about, that one I wanted you to watch with the glow sticks. Yeah. Equilibrium isn't right, but it's something like Constance.
Equilibrium's dope.
Well, you know the movie I'm thinking about though?
No, but Equilibrium's the movie where it's like in the future.
They all go to a house party.
They all take pills. And then they have the
guns.
Yeah,
with Christian Bale.
Yeah, that was dope.
Gun Fu? Is that what they call it?
They did call it Gun Fu. Think about all this while I tell you about our sponsor, everybody. Our sponsor is Hims. If you didn't know, 66% of men lose their hair by age 35. And the problem is once it starts to happen, it's too late. You got to do stuff early when you see those signs. Isn't that right, Nick Scarpino?
Absolutely.
Hims, of course, forhims.com is a one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, sexual wellness, and more for men. Nick, you and Andy are using it right now for hair loss.
We are, and sometimes I eat Andy's vitamins without him knowing.
When you say vitamins, they're gummies.
They are.
What you could do is you go to forhims.com, you talk to a doctor, you send in photos, the doctor talks to you, and they find the right prescription, generic prescriptions for you that then help you keep your hair, just like Nick and Andy did. Was it easy, Nick?
It is indeed.
There's no waiting room, no awkward doctor visits, and you can save hours by going to forhims.com. You answer quick questions, the doctor reviews it, and they prescribe you what you need, and these products are shipped right to your door. Order now. My listeners get a trial month of Hims for just $5 right now while supplies last. See the website for full details. This would cost you hundreds if you went to the doctor or pharmacy. Go to forhims.com/Greggy. That's forhims.com/Greggy. forhims.com/Greggy. So you're still intent on casting this picture. Mm-hmm. We know nothing about it. Nothing is cooked.
I mean, I love this conversation.
The conversation's great.
Forever. This is the show now.
I just feel. I'm aware. I'm aware. That's why.
Your topic is next week.
No, I figured when we hit the 2:15 mark.
Yeah.
I was like,
hey, well, it was 30 minutes of pre-show. Remember, there's pre-show. You watch live, or you can catch it on Fridays early on Patreon on the video. It's only up on Patreon. So then I say we're casting Jean Grey, Professor X, and Magneto for the movie. That seems to be the constant in these movies we're talking about.
The Magneto part's what throws me off.
What part about it? You don't want it?
Him being in the movie or not?
Oh my God. I hate this movie.
Yeah, but like you would say that about Ant-Man. You said that about Ant-Man.
I didn't say I hated Ant-Man.
You did.
I didn't say I hated
it. You did.
No.
I guarantee. Tom Hawkins.
Go
out and watch the fucking GOG of us talking about the Marvel
and
phase
I said,
lineup.
I hate Ant-Man.
You're just like, there's no way this movie's going to be good.
That's possible.
Literally everyone was like, fuck this. Why would I be interested in this?
You were like, I
Guardians
hate
of Galaxy,
Ant-Man.
they have me on a GOG being like, movie I don't give a shit about. Mm-hmm. And then guess
Doctor
what?
Strange,
Turned out
all of them.
History was right.
And now we're still talking about it to this day. Well, who are the other bad guys in the
Blob.
X-Men
It's
universe?
Blob.
That's what I'm saying. Don't have it be an
Senator
X-Men
Kelly. But I mean, who do we have left?
I think.
You want me to read Ragu Bagu Volume 1 to you?
No.
please
I
do.
just really think that it just needs to be things in the world of the MCU, not bad guys.
Dormammu.
Necessarily. Just the government of the MCU would make sense. Like random ass.
Nah, you gotta have a big bad guy.
I don't know, man.
That's MCU's nom de plume, man. That's their.
Well, here's the thing. If
their
it's
MO.
like anything else in the MCU, it's gonna be got the exact same powers. So who has the same powers as
Jean
Professor
Grey
X?
is
Jean
the
Grey.
bad guy.
That's what I'm saying. They gotta hunt her down. She's like, fuck you. He's like, just soils himself. He just keeps making him fucking shit himself everywhere she goes.
Oh, I had a different read on that.
I did, but I switched it over. It was,
that would be awesome if
Papa
there was
Load
a
in your
running,
pants.
if like literally after their first encounter, she just goes in and flies away or whatever, and they're like, why aren't we chasing you? He's like, she made me shit my pants. I've shit my pants, everybody. We need to come up with a better way to fight her.
This person must be stopped because this is horrible. This is the worst thing.
The brown
ever.
out.
Well, I feel like we should at least cast Professor Xavier because he's for sure going to be in this movie.
There's
first one.
McAvoy.
James McAvoy did a great job
He did,
with what he had.
but the problem is he's got too much baggage, right? He's got all those.
We can't go back. We can't go back. We have to go forward.
The problem is with all of this, with the casting segment of this episode, is I truly believe we should not know who any of these people are. And I think that they need to be young enough
Sean
that we
Finnegan.
just don't know. Damn, that was really funny. We should not know the actors' names, right? Because we don't know them when we think, who are young actors? Until we knew Tom Holland, we didn't know Tom Holland.
Yeah, but they're going
right?
to bring someone in that's quasi-established, like they've done
later,
before.
the Wolverine.
Cameron Cuff.
I honestly
Professor
don't-
X.
Cameron,
I just think the problem is it's like when we are thinking of people this age, like there's not that many.
It's difficult. It's difficult to find.
And the X-Men already
That's
fucked it
the
up
thing,
with
like,
a lot of the people that were good.
it's hard to find someone in there, like to think of rather. I'm sure we could easily find one, but that's the hard thing is like you have to cast someone who is just known enough, but hasn't broken through yet, but someone whose career is like not skyrocketed because then they're not expensive and you can get them locked in for like 10 movies.
Let's make this easier.
Yeah.
We cast the X-Men movie using the cast of Stranger Things.
Wow.
Because that's literally what we're talking about here if we're talking about age-appropriate shit, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would. Yeah.
Millie
Actually,
Bobby Brown
to be
as
fair,
Jean Grey.
Millie Bobby Brown would be a great Jean Grey.
She already is.
I'm in.
She would be awesome.
She is Jean Grey.
She sort of already played that character.
She is Jean
She
Grey.
pretty much has played that character. I mean, she's a great actor.
What if we do the kid with the curly hair as Wolverine?
So, like, we need you to get really jacked and about 20 years older. And he's like, okay,
On it.
I'll try.
I'm on it.
I'll try. Yeah, that's the hard thing. I mean, the problem is like my brain. I'm terrible with casting. Like my brain wants like, everything I've seen before, and I love Michael Fassbender as Magneto, but you can go a totally different direction with that. You can do anything.
How old is Professor X?
In this movie?
In this. Because I think that he's
Late
my
20s.
age. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a little younger. Let's go 26, I think. No.
Well, he's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
professor.
yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's
26.
fine.
Let's
Age
go
appropriate. Maybe
26.
he's a first year professor.
Kevin,
hasn't
get me a
gotten
list
tenure
of 26-year-old actors.
Hey, Greg, how well do you remember Princess's Diaries?
Look at that. This is
Princess
zero.
Diaries.
I
I'm not
mean,
gonna do it.
fairly well.
Okay, do you remember her best friend?
Yes, of course.
That woman
Yeah.
had a child. The child is
kid?
the kid from Stranger Things. Do you know that?
Wait, what?
Wait, well, that woman, the child, is
No,
the
that woman had a child. Had a child.
Millie Bobby Brown?
No. The guy with the curly hair with the missing teeth.
No.
Yeah.
The best friend, the
best
nerdy
friend.
best friend. Let's just
Yeah.
call it a spade a spade. The nerdy best friend from Princess Diaries has a child
Yeah.
that is the curly-haired guy from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
How old is the nerdy best friend?
87.
Kevin, these facts don't check out. I do
Let's
not
Google it.
believe
Let's Google
for a
it.
fucking second that woman is old enough to have a child that old.
Take it to the Google.
So what am I looking at? Heather.
Take it to the Google.
Here we go.
That's
Heather
what you said. I was like,
Matarazzo.
what did
Take
you
it to
just
the
say?
Google. Now she is. Wait, hold on. She was born in 82, so she's 36 years old.
She's 36 years old.
And
Damn.
Gaten Matarazzo.
He's 15 years old.
Wait,
21.
maybe
I guess that kind of checks out. I could kind of check out.
she had him at 21. Holy shit.
Wait, where's her fucking? Where's the thing about who her
Who's
mom?
his mom?
Who is his mom?
Who's his mom?
This isn't on Wikipedia. You're
Personal
telling
life.
me.
Go to personal life.
Personal life. Marazzo was born in Little Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey.
Not a
He
real
has an
place.
older sister, a younger brother.
What's his older
Mazarak
sister?
has Silio.
Who's his older
Stranger
sister?
Things.
That's what I'm
It's
saying.
weird that it doesn't have like.
Yeah, I don't
mom
believe
and
it's
dad
true
here.
for a fucking second. Yeah, you're telling me at 21 she had this kid, immediately shoved him into movies and TV shows, and he's amazing.
He's a great actor, by the way. I love
He's a
that kid.
fantastic actor. No one's taking anything away from Gaten.
Parents are
Gaten-
Heather Mazzarato and Gaten Mazzarato Sr.
Yeah, Heather Mazzarato. That's the girl we're talking about.
No, expand.
I mean, you don't.
Now we're saying Mazzarato, but there's a lot more A's in this name.
Hold on, the first article will answer our question.
Gaten's mom, Heather Mazzarato, describes herself.
Whoa.
Oh.
You
I
were
thought
wrong,
that'd be
Greg.
worth-
Just tell her what year you're born.
Wait,
back to
no,
that.
Go back to
no.
that.
This is Kevin's wrong.
What? Really?
For the record, yay! For the record, Gatso Mazzarato isn't related to Lily from Princess Diaries. What year were you born? Why does it start at 1? Show this to people, Kevin. What year were you born? It starts at 1. Kevin is counting up. It's got to be how old you are, right? Put in 1. Just hit enter. Hit enter.
What year were you born? 180 years ago.
They're like, we fucking found you, immortal.
You fucking idiot. That's
Fans of
hilarious.
Netflix original series have noticed something similar for you.
Not related? Ah, this is upsetting.
Yeah.
Whose last name has been caused some major confusion
So scroll down,
among
yeah.
ST fans. Let's see. According to 35-year-old
We are not related.
Heather,
He is not my son, though he is adorable and such a good actor. Jesus, you freaked me out there, Kevin.
That's a fucking really unique last name. Mataraz.
They also kind of look alike. They got similar eyes.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I'd
they're
buy
white
it.
people.
I would have
Matarazzo.
bought it.
Matarazzo. Man, they look alike.
I feel like this is fake.
Kevin, your next thing is I want you to get Gaten Matarazzo on this show.
All right,
Thank you.
So just so we know, this is a news story from j-14.com.
Reputable.
And I want you to know, J-4, don't click away when I'm reading it.
I only trust J17. You know what I mean?
J-14's header goes J-14, Selena Gomez, One Direction, Justin Bieber, Disney, Channel.
I'm just saying-
Also, it just says YouTube videos above it.
I don't trust.
Click on that link. Click on YouTube videos.
Stop clicking off this. This is your
God,
shame,
he went as
Kevin.
far away from it as he could.
Let's see, what is
We're
it? It just
going
goes to their
to-
YouTube channel.
J-14 has 66,000 subs.
Of course they're legitimate. Look how legitimate this banner is. It
Kevin,
looks like
show the
someone
people.
put it together.
Holy
with
shit,
spray
it's
paint.
Baby Ariel. I
I don't
follow
know
her
who
on
any of those
Instagram.
people are.
All right, we should be careful.
She was the face of
because-
Musically.
Then click off it.
Oh.
Cool. I'm just saying, like, copyright strikes. Now, I don't want this little video causing us to have.
It's fair. Mr. Buckets fucked us
Mr.
once. They're not going to get
Buckets
us again. They're not going to get
Logan
us
Paul
God, I
as
freaked out for a
Professor
second.
X.
again. Wow.
Can you stop? This isn't funny
Don't
anymore.
do this to me. Don't do this to me.
Joey.
Jesus, Joey.
Joey, come on, man.
Joey happened. That's
No,
what
that
happened.
happened earlier.
What do
Okay.
you want me to look up? You said there was another thing. You said there was
This
another
moment's
thing.
gone. Don't worry
It's gotta
about
be
it.
on the handle.
26-year-olds
Yeah,
actors.
right there.
Yeah, it was a joke. I don't really need to. I don't really know anybody's thing. You know what I mean? We'll just start the usual ones: Cameron Cuff, Steve Harvey, and Anthony Gruber.
Steve Harvey, definitely a.
Oh, Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, yeah. Anton Yelkin.
He's dead.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield,
Unfortunately.
Nicholas Hout.
He's not 26. He wasn't.
Anton Yelkin? was
30. Oh, it's
not-
Aaron
30
Taylor
males
Johnson
under
is
30.
not- okay,
Under
okay.
30.
All
Under
right,
30.
guys, read what it says up there. I'm sorry, I didn't.
You did the best you could, Kevin. It's fine.
I don't think. Anton Yelchin was 30 when he died, though. I think he was. Nicholas Holt's so good, and it sucks
Who's
we can't
dead?
use him again. Nicholas Holt actually would be an amazing Professor X.
Beast isn't dead.
No, Anton Yelchin.
Anton Yelchin from Star Trek.
Yelchin.
Oh,
Thoroughbreds.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
super sad. That
Thoroughbreds
was
car.
super
You
sad,
and Jen
yeah.
should watch Thoroughbreds. Not the best movie.
Explain.
but,
Give me a pitch of it.
It's the movie with Anya Taylor-Joy.
John.
She's pushing me further and further
She's
away
the
from
girl
having
with the
Such a good actress.
very unique face with the white eyes. That
She
she's
was
younger.
in,
Give me
She's also in
she was in that
New
movie
Mutants.
with Split.
And I
Yeah,
watched
she was the
Split.
main girl. Split.
She's
Split, yeah.
fucking
Back to the topic. I'm
What's
telling
it
you.
about?
I
Is it
want her.
Forcing?
Oh, she's gonna be in New Mutants. Damn it.
Yeah.
See, they're wasting all the young ones in New Mutants.
And they're wasting, what's her name? Maisie
Maisie Williams.
Yeah, Williams. That
But
sucks.
again, you need to bring out the people nobody knows.
She was in The Witch.
That's a bad.
I watched The
picture.
Witch. No, that doesn't take
I
away.
haven't seen
You
Morgan.
should
Has
watch
anyone seen
Thoroughbreds.
Morgan?
Have you seen Thoroughbreds?
What is
Not yet.
Thoroughbreds about?
It's about two
Thoroughbreds
kids that
fucked up.
conspire to kill their dad, but like one of them's a sociopath, and it's weird. It's very
The
cool
ending
looking.
is phenomenal, in my
There you go.
opinion.
Does it turn out the dad imagined
I
them
really
both?
enjoyed it.
That's
Yeah,
how I'd write
exactly what you nailed it.
You should watch it.
Dad's just sitting in a room
interesting movie
naked.
to
I'm gonna throw
enjoy.
this out there. I know we've seen him before, but Nicholas Holt would make an amazing Professor X.
It's too late.
And
He's
that'd
too close. He's too
That'd be an
close.
interesting thing, though, if Beast became the professor.
Well, I mean, again,
I
that's what you're
just-
trying to do with Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah,
What
it's
if we
confusing.
put Nicholas Holt and Kelsey Grammer in a movie and just call it Beast to Beast? You know what I mean?
Beast to beast.
It's a mango conspiracy.
No, it's the manga.
Protect the mango. All right, so yeah, we're not going to cast this movie
yeah.
as I predicted, as we don't have a solid vision right now, guys. I want you to know
That's
Kevin.
not the. We don't.
Kevin
we do have a
Feige
solid
watched.
vision.
He watched all this thinking he might hire us as consultants. Then we couldn't even come down with the fucking movie
I'm
is.
sure
You could
Kevin
name
Feige
one
stopped watching
fucking
this a long time
26-year-old to be. And then
I already came a cuff.
it needs to be younger, not 26, because we need a franchise out of this.
Look up the
Greg.
kid from Love Simon. What's his name?
What is
Jesus,
Love Simon?
that's
You
his
guys
mom.
have mentioned about 17
It
times
seems
today.
like
his
this
mom.
is his actual mom.
That seems a little bit more age appropriate for him. As this woman, maybe in her early to mid 40s.
Kevin,
That's
did you,
all right.
I asked you to reach out and
15-year-old.
get this kid into the studio. Did you do that yet?
Which kid?
Gaten Mazzio.
Yeah, I
Mazzarazzo.
tweeted at him, but he's not
Matarazzo.
responding.
You didn't tweet at him.
Yeah.
know
See,
that.
the shitty thing is, like, I also really like the kid that's playing Cyclops right now.
Me too.
The guy from Ready Player One is
Dude,
fucking great.
The problem
He's a great
is
actor.
the fucking cast of Apocalypse
good.
was good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's just they weren't given good
I know.
story or lines or anything,
know.
and I don't know. Maybe I'm fucking wrong about that, but
no,
I think they
were
all
good.
could be great.
That cast of kids was great. Great. Like I said, we started this off by me saying the girl that played Storm was amazing. So I don't know. I just
And
saw her in Love Simon.
Sansa's Jean Grey.
Sansa.
I could buy it, man.
Yeah, but
gonna
we
do?
didn't like her in the. Well, you're
that's what
you're
I'm
playing
saying,
Apocalypse
yeah.
overall for that. Well, I mean, we still have hope for this Phoenix Saga. No, yes, no, nothing like a movie that gets delayed 4 times and keeps getting all these reshoots, right?
They should just cancel it.
That's it.
It's depressing. It's
nailed it.
depressing.
Oh, I thought you
There's
were
no
about
way
to
to
go
save
in.
the X-Men.
I thought you were about to
Oh,
go
I
in.
am,
If you
I
didn't
am,
know,
I am,
yeah.
I am about to do that. I am about to do that. I'm just maybe we went the wrong way and we should have just done Fantastic Four because Fantastic Four's simple. They were
think it
scientists and cosmic rays hit them, and there we go. We got a movie.
I think it needs to be more.
We got a fucking movie, everybody.
You think
They buy
Fantastic
the
Four
old
has
Tony
more?
Stark tower. It's done. It's easy. It's over. We got it.
I like
Put Miles
that.
They
Teller
call
back
it
in.
the Meredith Baxter
yeah,
building.
but like there's certain elements that I think are easy, but then there's a
got you.
lot going on. It's like, but how do we make this make sense?
just
Space.
constantly play Family Ties in the lobby.
Fucking Captain Marvel fought somebody up there and fucking
Got
there's
me,
space
Greg.
dust up
You
there.
really got me.
It's easy. If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Game Over Greggy Show. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 3 best friends gather on this table, each bringing a random topic discussion for your amusement. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindafunny, where you can get each and every episode early. How early? You can stick around right now as we record it and watch us do the post show we enjoy so much. Of course, every Friday we put up an MP3 of the show early and a video of the show early. The video has the pre and post show for the Game Over Greggy Show. More content for your viewing pleasure. If you don't want to give us any money, though, no big deal. YouTube.com/kindafunny and podcast services the following Friday. It's up. No pre or post show. Just whatever we did on the show. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Do you?
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
What are we gonna talk about on the post show today?
We're going to talk about Meredith Baxter.
Meredith Baxter Burney, another person. Kevin, have you started? Here's the thing, Kevin. I want you to know I appreciate.
Hard sigh. Hard exhale from
I
Kevin.
want you to appreciate you tried hard on getting Sir Patrick Stewart in here. Didn't work out. I think the Stranger Thing kid and Meredith Baxter Burney better chances.
The Stranger Kid thing is blowing up right now.
We're
all
blowing up
the
too.
news.
We're blowing up too.
No.
We're blowing up too.
Our days have passed.
Tell him you know the guy who did the voice of the Mizzou commercial. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, It's been a pleasure to serve you. Thanks for watching the Game Over Greggy show, everybody. Click up here to subscribe to the channel. Click down here to support us on Patreon, where, yes, you can watch us record it live or get the pre and post show we do for each and every one of these shows if you need more podcast. Thanks, Nick. Click over here, subscribe to Kind of Funny Games, and click down there for the playlist of MCU in review. Nope, let's do Spider-Man in review. Cool Greg and keep me on your toes. Somebody tweet me if he does any of this.